materials off that body. Breaks through a box and a shotgun to the dome of Hero.
What a loadout pickup in there, too. I don't know if you saw everything that was on the ground. He avoided it entirely. There was a heavy sniper. There was an RPG. There was a legendary AR, all on the ground, and he had to move past it because the storm was too aggressive. It pushed him away from the loot pile. Potentially picked up all the mats, which is great, but in a situation like this, every little bit counts, Jack.
Ben, this might be a surprise to you, but Rankson, 12-year-old, who got three rifts and a launch pad, are the ones that have high ground right now.
Doesn't add. Honestly, if he's actually 12, it does not surprise me. His awareness has got to be insane at this point. Dealer's trying to push through metal structures as they're being built. And he catches up with Shark. Gets the one pump. The siphon heal there puts him back up. Another one. Nash goes down for just a second. Dealers was at 15 HP. Another one. Chaka goes down. Dealers barely staying alive. A one. Shield shot right outside the storm, and his run is over. But oh my gosh, Jack, the fact that he made it all the way to A players remaining is insane.
I thought he was dead 4 times over right there. 12-year-old still playing the high ground. You see Ranks now has dropped on down, so just going to keep holding this high ground for the moment. It's now a 2 versus 1. Naka all by themselves, having to run through the zone. Doesn't look like they have many builds left, and there it is, folks. 12-year-old and Ranks with the victory royale. 8 eliminations, and guess what? I'm not the smartest Fortnite player in the game, but when you get 3 Rift to goes and a launch pad, you have a pretty darn good chance of winning.
Hey, it's like 3 plus 1 equals win. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what you're saying there, Jack.
Quick, exactly.
Quick math.
It literally is that, you know. But the thing is, I'm not really good at math, so I'm glad that Jack did that for me. Welcome everybody. That was crazy. Okay, for one, 12-year-old kid. We've seen 12-year-old kid a few times, by the way. I think I saw Lux Cup. I think was what we saw.
Definitely been in some of the Lux Cup matches.
And I remember making that joke then as well, and we still haven't quite confirmed. Watch yourself. But as far as those games go, insanity across the board. And what I think is really like one of the best parts about competitive Fortnite to me is when a player just wants to dive into that 1-by-1 and just wants to go toe-to-toe. That CQC, close quarters action, close quarters combat. And Sundown, I know you had a few of those highlights you wanted to cover, and then some. What do you have for me?
Yeah, so we're going to take a look, particularly you talked about it, Fortnite in the late game is a different dynamic because you're playing on basically inside different 1-by-1s or on different tarps, as they're referred to. So generally you'll have a high level, a mid level, and then a low ground.
Yeah.
But this ends up resulting in a lot of pairs either working together or trying to catch people rotating while also remaining covered. So you can see here, Mirage does this really, really, really well with Neu. The entire time they're always, it's team fire going in and making sure they're finding the same targets, keeping themselves covered, and then when they do go aggressive, it's directly on top of each other. So able to pick up a huge down there, gets the siphon to stay in the match, and then is trying to find the player who has to rotate through that tarp because they have to build out. You know they're going to be on the edge of the circle, and this is just great. Using the edits to drop the player down, and then both of you going through, picking up Difficult Cockle right there. I said it was impossible, but that's his actual name. I wrote it down here on the card. But then again, picking up the other player, utilizing that new infantry rifle at the close range, the high rate of fire and good base damage to pick up the elimination, and then they edit back down the resources to make sure they fall in and they get a rift to go, they get a big pot, absolutely huge there, and then Glorly does it by himself here.
Oh, the angles.
It's so good, right?
The angles.
Like editing the top wall first to make sure he's only exposing a certain area, and then editing the bottom.
And you have to factor this in mind as well, Sundown. There's like a split moment that they have to come up with that decision because you have to know, like, hey, my body's going to be over this wall. I need to make this play. Or it's below and I need to make the play.
And that's exactly what it's about. We talk about split decisions right here, and sometimes the player is just directly in front of you right there, didn't even have a chance to react, and that's when in the practice comes down just all of your aim training, and then sometimes about decision making and knowing which walls you own. A great little 180 there, throwing it back out, putting a trap down to cover himself, and then just check out this cheeky edit play, Golden Boy.
Oh, because he knew that he owned it. He knew that he owned it. He was like, I'm prepared. You think you're safe. I'm going to pop up right there. And that player doesn't know, right? That player's just like, okay, I don't own this, but I need to like be aware. But the element of surprise plays into that individual's hand. And typically you wouldn't think that because you're outside of the storm, and a lot of players would panic at that moment. But to just be so calm in those final moments and just know that you got this. You have this shot covered. That was really, really cool. Some good moments there, without a doubt, bro. Thanks for breaking that down. I appreciate you. Wow. Great matches in the European region. This has been incredible, and honestly, Europe is such a competitive spot that it makes perfect sense that we're getting the caliber of games that we're getting. Remember, only 4 spots up for the European region, and we are going to find out who those players are going to be. For now, let's send it over to the key mathematicians of Courage and Dr. Lupo.
You know, incredibly talented gamers here we're watching, and some incredibly
talking about me for a second.
Talented casters are here casting it. That's us, man. God, I hate myself.
Fortnite, yeah. I'm gonna go cry now. Imagine TC all the way up.
Happy Easter! Hold these eggs. That's what Madsen just said. Dropping them on down. And that's one of the first times we've actually seen the grenade launcher literally used. We've seen far more minigun plays than the grenade launcher in the last 2 days.
Commented on it yesterday specifically that it just hasn't. We haven't seen it emerge nearly as many times, but lo and behold, Jack, here we are today.
Yes.
6 elims for this duo, hanging out in the southeast corner of the map here, stuck on the side of a hill. 50 players total, 27 duos remaining, and shots from above, a little bit of pressure, and TC does get knocked. The stink, why we talked about it before, really, really good at zoning, but it might not be good enough in this moment. We'll see. Madsen might be able to drop down and pick TC up still, and I think he can here, walling off.
Goal, yeah.
Trying to take ownership of all these surfaces, and he does get the pickup.
Now, if you don't really play competitive and you thought people thirst a lot in public games, I'm going to tell you a quick little thing right now. In these custom lobbies, a downed player is like finding a treasure in real life. For me, that would be a double chicken burrito. I am doing everything in my power to get that in my hands and to secure that. That's exactly what we're seeing right here. There it is. The elimination comes in. I think a lot of that was the help from the 2 players nearby in that box who stopped Toash from being able to be rezzed. Wait, Flint knock? Did you just see what just happened?
7,000
That was 3 balloons, Flint knock, to try to fly up to the high ground. Is absolutely insane. You'll see exactly every move is calculated from this player. 170 HP now, 6 eliminations, 1 just came on in. Definitely wants to get more materials here soon. It looks like this will be the opportunity. He's looking for shots. There it is. Can't loot though, but another point of the board.
8 elims total, 13 now. They're in placement point range. The Storm's still a little bit ahead. They don't have much in terms of rotation, but they still have materials like you wouldn't believe. Only on their brick, still sitting on most likely quite a bit of metal in the inventory. Up top here. Catches Rojo off guard. The first elim for this duo. 12 teams left now. 6 minis, only 20 builds left. Starting to burn through quite a few materials, and at this point he's got to start looking for any opportunity to yoink someone on rotation. Speaking of the yoink, there it is. Johansson goes down and picks up the duo, both eliminations. A ton of mats in there, and he's going to duck back out super quick.
That was
up
huge.
To 100 builds.
Yep, that was actually huge to get right there. Now kind of overbuilding towards this next zone, just making sure they can live for as long as possible. Those 2 elims actually secured the top 10 placing for IFC. Now in the same box as a baller. Thankfully, the baller just gets on out of there, which is typically the path it takes. IFC just hiding for the moment. No shields left. 200 damage pump shot. to live to see another moment again in this one. Back up to 121 total builds, and the heavy sniper picked up as well. This is their wall. It's a free elimination right in front. There it is. Now up to 6 total limbs for this duo. Continue to push through for this low ground. Thankfully, it's wood nearby. There's one player just behind. Oh, no, I thought they had the shot to come on in. It doesn't work out, though, in the end. Prago now stuck outside the zone. Does make it back in time, so won't fall to the storm damage yet.
Just on the edge. He's got 2 campfires in his inventory, an opportunity to top that HP off unless he can get a siphon elim here in just a second, and he might. Goes for the shot inside the box, gets caught with Mel on the inside, but does get that elim. He's got to tunnel his way out. The storm is ticking for so much right now, Jack. 4 players, 3 players, all solos. Limbo in a 1v1 with Heiko down below. It's Prago and Heiko. Prago's got the top down. Very little HP, Jack. He's just going to waterfall his way down. Doesn't want to drop too far.
Heiko's stuck in the zone. He slid all the way down.
He's still safe. The very edge. The bottom right corner of the screen, trying to take tap fire from underneath. Heiko looking to break every branch he can. Prago, the top down, Jack.
Prago's got to place these campfires. Beautifully placed.
Here we go.
Nicely done.
Heiko literally waiting, no builds. He has 7, look at the ammo, 7 medium rounds, 9 shotty shells, and 8 small. That's it. He's got nothing else. Prago just has to wait this out, and he could potentially get the win on a drop in with the pump shot. Here we go, Jack.
This is it. Prago with drop! Heiko with the win! Prago had a redeploy. So at that point, you try to redeploy down low.
He didn't want to take the fall damage.
And the thing was, is he had so little. So here's the quick breakdown from my end, right? Let's go to the mind of Jack Courage Dunlop right here as we hop into our next game. What we just saw right there in the 1 versus 1, the campfires were used. He had like what 30 HP, like could take only a couple ticks of the zone before he winds up dropping. You can't waterfall down at that point because of how tight the zone is. Literally waterfalling down, plus the fact that that player he would expect to spray up at you
100%.
would wind up either dropping you down to your death or you'd take too much storm damage. So the hand's kind of forced. I've got to drop in, hope to redeploy, have them whip the shot, and then hit my 1 pump after. But in the end, it's just not possible to work on out Boyer and Kripa, the first players to watch in this game. What a dramatic ending to that last one, Lupo.
Absolutely insane. I almost expected at that point, you go for the redeploy and you're going to leave yourself exposed. In a situation like that, maybe just going full send and waiting to the very last moment to try and hit that pump shot, because the closer you are, the spread is tighter on your opponent's. You know, if you're going for a headshot, you look for every chance you can to focus as much damage as possible. Waiting for that last second hit might have been the play, and if you miss it, then you're going to hit the ground, take the fall damage, and get eliminated anyway. It's kind of a toss-up.
Yep. You can make an argument on either side, sort of thing.
Exactly.
But Boyer now just continuing to peek on out through these edits. They are pre-set up in this zone. 2 Rift-to-Goes, Slurp Juice, Heavy Sniper.
Oh my gosh.
Beams, Mishmosh. And you got to think, they want to secure this drop that's about to fall on in. Now I'm surprised they're not building any pyramids, especially when they have, you know, just 1 layer of floor below them. They haven't done it yet. Here's a look at
Majin, Provoke, Atlantis, and Fnatic here. Opening the wall. Finishing that player. The attempt here, the reason for the finish, Jack, they're not going to get a point for that, but if they're close enough like they are, you get all the mats, you get all the shield.
Yep.
You basically claim the entire pile of loot as your own, since whoever got the knockdown, they don't know necessarily at that point. They're not going to get it. The top center of your screen, 2 of the excellent players from Solary, Hunter and Kinstar. We've seen them in plenty of competitions in the past, and no surprise, here they are today qualifying for today's attempt to make it to New York City.
Yep, a French duo. Scary when they can kick it into gear. A beautifully placed Stink starts tagging both players. And what also that gives Kinstar is not only the damage, but the peace of mind of knowing exactly where those 2 are. It's almost like it's almost like you get like an outline of where they are at all times, because you see their movements. You can tell, oh, they drop down a layer. Oh, you know, now that they're safe, we know they're not in this box. Shoot up, gets beamed right there. They're going to hit the launch pad. And what I like about that from Kinstar and Hunter is there's no hesitation. They don't try to continue beaming that box. They know that there's no way that player can be rezzed with the zone at their back, and now the elimination comes on in because the player's already taking 5+ tick damage of the storm, plus the damage that you get when you're knocked out on the ground. They're going to drop real quick.
Still see a handful of players and ballers rolling around in here. Somebody should close Discord.
As Boyer
landing just on the edge of the storm. Even though you may take the 10 damage to the storm, he's going to go ahead and pop one of the 2, by the way, slurps that he's sitting on. And it's the ceiling, and Scotty gets caught off guard in the elimination here. Another free 50 for the siphon. That slurp is going to top him off here in a second. Grabs one of the 2 Rift-to-Goes, and Boyer and Crippa still in this, the top-down view on the entire map.
And this is a brilliant time to pop this Rift-to-Go, because look at how many players are remaining in this game. They're nearly at that top 15 for the placement points. You wind up taking that Rift-to-Go, your odds of being shot down and eliminated while this is happening on the low ground is much, much lower. So it's the lesser of 2 evils. You go up top, you float around, hope that really no one gives you the time of day to look up top, and instead everyone else just has absolute insanity break loose down low.
It's funny that Crippa and Boyer have landed now. Looks like they're not the top layer. Provoked, Majin have that top down on everyone.
Yep.
Ultimate high ground, but they're in a safe enough spot that they can just rotate in ahead of everybody. They don't have to worry too much.
Top 15.
Clyde, Marwana with 3 eliminations between the 2 of them. Top 15, like you said, we have placement points coming out. The rocket from above doesn't take damage to it. Still at 150, but it was very, very close, Jack. Boxing is going to happen here. 105 builds. They're doing great on materials. Incline is honestly in one of the better spots from anybody we can see right now. The bottom section of your screen is very, very thick.
There's still so many players left in this one. Majin right now building on up, trying to match these players that are nearby. A nice 119 tag. This inventory stacked on up, only 3 shotgun shells left. Might have to call for Provoked to drop some on the ground if possible. RPG now reloaded, and here comes the spray up top. They'll make sure they have cover from the low ground. And when you start to spray up top, it forces the players who are floating to try to glide on down quick. That's Boyer and Crippa, who use their second of the rifts. RPGs should begin to rain down low, but at the same time, you think Majin probably knows, hey, I've only got 3 of these left. I want to make sure if I'm going to shoot these, I've got a high chance of getting a limb. Right now, with vision of nobody, doesn't feel the need to shoot them quite yet.
It feels safe enough at this point. They're not really getting challenged on the high ground, so you're not seeing pyramids come out, but an opportunity to save some builds. The branch they're on is...
It's a little bit high up, and it's not held up by much.
I was going to say, Provoked notices that as well, starts to drop in. Marwana ticking out there, outside. Boyer gets eliminated. That duo is out. Still a pair from E11. Stompy and his teammate are still in there. Lazy still alive. 8 players, 6 duos total, which means there's only 2 sets of 2. Majin and Provoked have the high ground on everybody, Jack. And the other duo, low ground warriors, down there at the bottom. Every player that's in the middle, all 4 of them, they're all solos. And Incline pays the price, gets caught off guard there. 6 players left, Jack.
It's the 2 duos just like sandwiching everyone and eliminating them right now. But now, Atlantis and Fnatic wind up dropping on in. Provoked and Majin go for it. The RPG hits both. Hawkers by themselves, and there's just no way. Majin, 3 elims in the final moment right there. It escalated so quickly. I wasn't even ready for it, Lupo. And that's because they had the high ground, and instead of kind of waiting and trying to force their way through the build, they dropped down into the zone in front of the build, catching their opponent basically completely off guard because they were realizing they were slowly just building ceilings and not building a complete box around them. In the end, it winds up spelling disaster for the E11 duo on the low ground, and Majin, known as one of the better players in Europe, comes out on top.
All right, well, thank you so much, gentlemen, for that. Great games in the European region. We have some more matches that are going to be coming up. But first, we're going to take a quick break. And when we return, plenty more EU Fortnite action. See you soon.
Fortnite World Cup competition from April work, you ask? Each week will alternate back and forth between solos and duos competition, with players qualifying from each server region in Oceania, Asia, Europe, Brazil, NA East, and NA West. To find specifics for your server region, go to Fortnite.com/World Cup. To play in the online opens, you'll need to compete in the new Arena mode, an always-on form of competition where players can rank up tiers and leagues. It all starts in the Open League, and when players earn 125 points, they'll advance into Contenders League. After that, you'll need to build your way up to 300 points to unlock Champion League, where the Saturday online open players will be chosen. Then, we'll take the top 3,000 solo players or 1,500 duos from that Saturday's semifinals and advance them to the Sunday finals. Each Sunday, 20 players will rise to the top and qualify to join us in New York for the Fortnite World Cup Finals. Buckle up, because we're officially on the road to the Fortnite World Cup Finals.
I didn't start off the qualifier too great. It was like the late games where I think I won a game with 6 kills, and then my last game alone I went from 54 to 65, so every game matters. I'm just glad that I qualified the first week of solos, and I guess my practice paid off.
Yeah, I've never really been like, oh my god, what could this turn into? No, I kind of just like live it day by day, and I enjoy every single moment that I can. It's absolutely enjoyable. To come into like the World Cup, which is basically the most competitive event so far, you know, you have everybody around the world, everybody's allowed to compete, and then to just come out of the gates and qualify for the first week is just absolutely amazing. Like,
it's a special sensation. I want to be the best player. I want to be better than all people and progress in myself. I need to play more aggressive and more play the high ground.
So far I'm the only Finnish person, and it feels awesome. Like I can maybe give the best representation for Finland. I don't know if they actually understand how big this is, but after the news, all of them have been like congratulating me, and it's a huge influx of like new support, and it's overwhelming.
I have a few close friends, and they're just blown away. What is this? This is what you've been doing, and thankfully they're very supportive. I think we have a really good roster. We picked up some really good players. I think I put out a good first impression.
there's just random moments throughout my day where I'm just like, oh my god, I actually qualified. Like, I'm going to the World Cup. I'm going to New York City. It's gonna be so fun. I love it.
It's awesome. Thanks, Fortnite.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is the first week for Duos qualifiers. Yesterday, these players played their hearts out. The top 1,500 teams made it to today. And we're going to see not only a handful of these duos are going to qualify for the World Cup Grand Finals in New York City. A ton of money on the line, $30 million, the total prize pool. And even the players from today that do extremely well come away with a little bit of prize money of their own. Now, we're going to take a look here. We've been watching European matches, and some of these players have been playing out of their minds. Some things that I didn't even expect. The drop down at the end of the last match that Jack and I had an opportunity to cast. Majin provoked the rocket from the outside. Things that we didn't even expect in the moment. Jack expected them to hold the high ground, as did I, and they showed us why they got the victory royale that match. Now, to take us through the standings and take a look at a couple of the individual players themselves, we've got Sundown standing by. Sundown?
Thank you so much, Dr. Lupo. Yes, we are getting into it. Europe getting towards the back half now. They've been playing through their games, getting up there. Now, one duo I want to call out right now at the top, Airwalks and Nikov. Like, they have played 3 matches, 2 victory royales, 32 eliminations, 59 points. A little crazier than that stat is the fact that the other match, they got 2nd place. So that's in only 3 of their matches. That's absolutely absurd. You also have Stompy, the #1 qualifier from the solos competition, up there with his partner Tashinkin, the E11 duo, and then Kedser and Trippern from Singularity rounding out the 3rd spot. 4th place right now, currently occupied by Energy's Benji, Fishy, and Mr. Savage. But you see that spread there. This is the barrier. Everybody needs to get up right now. 49 points is how tall you must be to ride that ride on over to New York City, Dr. Lupa. I mean, that's a tough barrier because we're only 3 or 4 games in for a lot of these guys.
Now, you mentioned Airwalks and Nikov. Their counterparts on Solary as well have been playing extremely well, Hunter and Kinstar. I've had the opportunity, at least I had the opportunity last week to watch them. The entire team from Solary is incredibly impressive. They are training like you would not believe, and I think that shows, especially when you look at the leaderboard, Sundown. There's a reason they're on top. 59 points, 32 eliminations, 2 of the 3 victory royales, and like you said, 2nd place for the last one. Now down there, 7th place, Mitro and Mongrel, another. The names on this list are absolutely insane, and I have to say, the dedication from the number of these players to make it this far already, they've been scrimming every single day. They've been playing out of their minds constantly. It's always an opportunity to play as well as possible because it all comes down to this. Now, we have more matches queued up real soon, and to bring the action with us, give us the play-by-play, we have 2 legends of Fortnite casting, Zeke and Golden Boy. You're sneaking. No, you're not sneaking. Everyone can see you.
No, man, that's the Scott Hall from back in the day,
I was sneaking.
NWO, like.
Golden Boy is old. Realize that. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you so much, senior citizen Lupo. All right. I love you so much. It's time now to get into the games. Tail end of Europe. Just like how you give me this judgmental look. I really do appreciate that. You got your boy GB and Zeke here ready to call the action, and we are jumping into this matchup with Fixie, who has 4 eliminations, most of the lobby thus far. But we're not going to him first. We're actually going to Kiddo and Boons, and Kiddo actually just picked off Fixie to start this off. So the Elim leader of the lobby says bye-bye, and that is going to go to Kiddo. Not bad with the boombo there.
With the old Boombo. Keep in mind, Boons is gone, his dual partner, so he's kind of in a tougher situation, having to fight a whole
Hey.
And it's okay, just
okay, try again. There
nice.
You go. Nicely done there. The Boombo connects and gets the cleanup on aisle 2 against Arnatron. Good job with the Boombo. It is such a powerful weapon. And we've seen some crazy plays with the Boombo, Zeke. Last week, I think someone picked up a triple with the Boombo, and Kiddo tried to get out of there with the launch pad, but was not able to utilize it. 2 players going to be right in front of him, and that's Adam. And Adam goes down, finds another one, an anonymous Cloud will fall victim to Kiddo. Once again, Kiddo impresses.
Man, another few eliminations picked up, but keep in mind, with all this noise he's making, everyone's like, look, we can tell you're by yourself. We'd like this free elimination. That's why you see a bunch of Tracers coming in. He is ripped all the way into critical. But now we got to see what's going on over here with Numb. His dual partner, Brutal Acousto, is gone, but Numb's by himself sitting on 4 eliminations.
Yeah, 4 elims, doesn't want to draw too much attention in their direction. So far, though, with that 4 eliminations, 4 points, you're really just trying to hold out as long as you can possibly get to for that top 15. And then you start to get some placement points. We know how much the eliminations are and how valuable they are, but those placement points equally as valuable.
Yeah, we'll definitely see the game slow down quite a bit because as you talked about, top 15 being that first threshold for points, a lot of these people, they want those points. They're so vital to their game, helping them move up the standings. So we're going to see a lot of people slow things down, make sure that every move they make
Oh, no, Kiddo!
He might be okay. It's okay. Watch the bottom left.
I saw Kiddo in the corner there. I just have to watch the bottom left and keep track on the elimination feed. But this is a, the rotation now is going to start to come out for Numb, who's going to try and just place himself at the edge of this circle. There's going to be a player right in front of him as well, and just one by ones right away. That other player has literally the same idea. There's a fight going on. Player up above him. Numb knows this, but Numb, once again, just continuing to play this very methodical approach. He wants to catch players off rotations, and that's Capsu, who was down low, and he punishes them, gets another one there onto Starliu there as well. That gets him 2 more. 6 elims on the board for Numb, and while he's playing safe, I got to give the credit where credit is due. You're just, hey, you're not trying to draw the attention. You're just trying to punish the players who are rotating, maybe a little exposed, maybe a little weakened, take full advantage of it.
Man, and you saw him there for just a moment try to he draw a bead there on that baller. I love that he waited. He just opted not to engage. He would have made noise. That person could have potentially fired back. I love that he was patient with it. Over to Harmy and Pepper, though. These guys are looking pretty all right here. I believe in the mid-ground tar players all the way around. We're getting closer, GB, almost top 15 status.
Yeah, players, you hear a lot of them up in the sky. You hear those gliders circling around where Harmy is. They're just trying to stay up, and everyone's scrambling about, looking for the eliminations, looking for anyone's going to challenge in Trapdoor, and that's Polar's goodbye, or Polar's, who's going to be out of the game here. And I love that play, one of my favorites, when you just edit out one of the corners of the flooring, and that player, unbeknownst to them, is just going to find themselves on another level, and that is where you catch them with the pump, with the shots right to the body to pick up the elimination. Catching players unawares.
It happens, you got to be careful. You got to respect a lot of these players. If you don't own a wall, you got to make sure that you replace it. Otherwise, everyone else, whoever does on that wall has editing rights. They can edit you in just like you talked about. So yeah, if you're new to Fortnite, make sure you own that wall and you have editing rights over it, because if not, you will be punished for it.
Now we got Tripperin and Kaiser. Kaiser and Tripperin actually have been top performers. I believe they were in our top 10. Yes, they were in the top 10 yesterday. We did talk about them, and maybe this is going to be a big game for them here. Kind of rough there to be pinned against the trees. The tree being such a nuisance to have to deal with. But Tripper and Kaiser knocked down Harmy, who we jumped on board with a little while ago, made some good plays, but it will be the pumps from above will be the undoing of the M10 player. Tripper, Kaiser continuing to box out, tunnel, and a good job with that placement of the poison traps. Also going to open it up in case anyone is rotating out. They may get tagged up a few times with it, but someone's going to pop up right behind Tripper, and he's going to have to play that defense. One elimination for this duo as well, and a lot of players are going to be right there. That's going to be Blasco goes out of this one. Thought I saw another one in front of him, but it will just be the tree.
It will just be the tree.
Just the tree.
And look, M10's partner there, Pepper, is he just picked himself up an elimination. That Siphon going to come through, but he's still in very critical condition. And look at this, Tripperman finding more loot. Look at these guys on the high ground as well.
Yeah, you've got Botcher and W Terp. In the mid ground, you have Sane as well as Enigmatic and Pepper. Pepper, the teammate, I believe, of Harmy.
Yes.
And then I have, oh God, that's just a great name. I'm just going to say Ebola. I can't even do it. Yes, Lupo, come right. Yes, it's ridiculous. He's out of the game. Goodbye.
He's been eliminated. Back to the lobby with you, good old friend.
Oh,
it's all good.
Should have checked yourself out. All right, so now we got Pepper, who's going to be out of the action.
Wow.
And Turk will be low, 50 HP, less than, but goes down at that moment. It's going to be Kaiser and Tripper, who got Botcher up above, and Botcher has that ultimate high ground, but they'll be able to outlive. Kaiser may not be able to stay alive, but Tripper certainly will. They're looking up. Seeing this might just come down to this is going to come down to the health here at the final moments. Does someone try and make a play? Who knows?
Ketcher goes for it and bonks his head, though, and it's going to go down. And look at Botch up top. He has 3 campfires, GB.
Botch
He's
is
just
going to be able to
rolling.
win this. He will win this game. Tripper has no choice. They have to concede. They don't know what's going on up above them, but Botch knew the play. Drop down both campfires, pick up the dub. Victory Royale for Botch and his squad member. And you play that saxophone all the way to the midnight day, right? I don't know if that was a song.
That was, you know, something like that.
I messed that one up. I
It's
felt good
okay.
about it. I felt good about it as I said it.
But
then
then
as
after
it came out of my mouth, it was like, that just didn't make any sense.
Well, what does make sense is there's more games to be had.
Brilliant
We
transition.
are already
Brilliant
going on. 47 players left, 26 duos. CRR, your elimination leader here. And man, that last game did not disappoint. First one for us, and we have plenty more to go.
And I know that people are like, oh, it didn't disappoint. It went down to health. But it's like both players played so well. They played their position so well, the ultimate low ground, the ultimate high ground. Sometimes it just be like that. And they prepared for that moment where they would have to double campfire to keep themselves going in the game. Just the little bit of ticks that you get from the double campfire was the difference maker here. It's about utilizing your utility to the utmost potential.
Yeah, for sure. We saw Botch's teammate Terp. He actually dove down on both Ketcher and his dual partner and was down basically immediately. So Botch kind of had to stay up top and make the late rotation. But all in all, man, he just played it very well. Like you said, had the campfires to help him out. He waited till the very last moment to start using them and converted that into a win.
Ooh, Deceptos needs to be careful. While flying in the sky, took some damage, but not enough to really scare him. But there's going to be 2 players right in front. Did he get that wall?
He did. The teammate flew in. They have that edit available to them. He's just waiting.
Away. They backed away.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a follow-up, but they said, nah, it's okay. We're good.
But also the wherewithal from them at that moment to just back away from that, right? To recognize that, hey, there's a player right next to us. We really don't want to deal with this at this point in the game. Got to get to that top 15. Got to start to earn some points. In the situation here that Nakwa finds himself in, end up getting an elimination. Did not count there on the spectator, but we'll keep a tab on it here. And this is going to be 1 point for them. So close. There goes the elimination. Another one onto Tifia as well, we saw earlier on. Ended up getting picked up, I believe. That was a pickup because Deceptos knocked Tifia in the sky. There's our elimination leader, CRR. Ends up losing the flooring. This player just tries to get a few boxes up above him, but CRR is just trying to force him down, and his teammate Leo is right there to help him out. And that will be the resources, the ammo, and the elimination. What are they going to do? Jump pad. Okay, so they're going to launch on out of here, go take to the sky, let everyone else deal with one another. They also...
It was a follow-up. They could have gone for it. They're like, you know what, look, let's just get safe. Let's get...
Community launch pad.
You know, let's just establish ourselves, let everyone come to us, we'll gatekeep them, we'll see what we can pick up, and they're utilizing this brand new gold infantry rifle, very deadly in the correct hands. Also, as Dr. Lu will point out, very loud.
Yes, that is a very, very loud weapon in Fortnite, but good play there from CRR, who follows up and picks up the elimination. That's number 5 with that purple pump. Also be a player right on the other side of this wooden wall. His teammate Leo JT does call it out. And you have to have the comms be clean at this point, Zeke. Anyone who's been in a competitive environment knows this and just pushes on in, pops him for 210. That player is down. Surely pick up that elimination. You also have Giganza and Vino that are going to be in the ultimate high ground. Some of the Gambit players will be in that mid-level there, but the scramble down low, Zeke, and you're starting to see these bodies drop. And we have 16 duos remaining here. One more, and all these players, as you see, pop up. The timing, convenient. Wow, it's like they're listening. Right there, 15, 14, now all these players, they have earned themselves 3 points.
That's right, 10 being that next placement threshold. But like you talked about, man, it's about to be chaos for all these players.
Oh, what a great
trying
angle.
to get into safety. An angle here, nothing follows up. A down there on Rora. Another follow-up. I believe that was his duo partner. We're going to see a follow-up there. That was not his straight elim. That was a cleanup, but still moves.
Got to get in. Oh, and that's the gatekeeping, right? And like the player knew that he was going to be coming around the corner and met him with the pump right to the body. Vino and Giganza still continue to hold the ultimate high ground. We have 8 duos remaining in this lobby.
a rift to go. Didn't rip anyone else out, but it's okay. He's going to start to dive on down, reposition as quickly as possible, meet back up with Juganza. I believe he was trying to see if they could pick up others along the way and kind of force them out of position, but nothing did happen. Juganza's being challenged. The edit drop down.
I think he ended up getting the trap elimination on him. Oh, he's going to be right there. Right to his right side. He does have the rockets. That rocket's going to be a pocket rocket if I've ever seen one there. That's an old school reference if you guys don't know about that one. But it's okay, though.
I like
it. Did lose that high ground. And just for context, the pocket rocket's when you shoot a rocket and it just flies off into the other dimension. That's basically what it is. Shout out to my boy Chris Puckett. Florixon and Furious in the ultimate high ground. You got George Q, as well as Harambe that are going to be there, and CRR with 9 eliminations, continuing his run in this game.
He found a launch pad, GB. This could be good if he wants to challenge high ground, but right now, man, again, he's by himself. One shot goes out, cracks back. Unfortunately, Harambe
does get the better of him there. And, some more players now starting to feel the pressure, the storm continuing to collapse here. You got Florixon and
this is a
Don't Be
2v2v2.
Furious. Yes, this is a good old-fashioned 2v2v2. And the Stinkers to zone out, in case anyone tries to get a little gully there and try and push up. This could come down to another one of those, right? Oh, but I wonder if anyone's going to try and challenge this. Furious is going to be right below. You got Nakwa and Jords. Alu's Jords right above Juganza and Vino. Florixon is playing the high ground, still maintaining it. They don't want to give this one up. 3 more Stinkers as well. And as this zone starts to close, the Stinkers become that much more valuable. And look at that. They're just going to keep throwing more Stinkers. Furious is going to go outside and challenge another player. You have one body down. Got a duo remaining. It's a 2v2. They see exactly where they are, and that is going to be the victory royale picked up by Florixon and Furious. Brilliant work with the Stinkers. Was able to zone them out. He had his teammate there to continue to apply pressure in case players tried to just build out, get themselves to some safety. Don't give them a moment to breathe. And that leads to the W for that duo. Now we're going to go into some more action here. And we got Soy Sinks with 4 eliminations currently. Whew. Some good games so far.
So far, man. We still have plenty more to go. Don't even worry about it. Don't fret, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't fret.
Don't fret. Now, if you're just tuning in, welcome. Happy Easter. If you're fretting, stop it. We've got you. First of all, happy Easter. Happy Sunday. Hope you had an awesome day so far. Really quickly, let's touch on the format. Top 15, 10, 5, and victory all placement thresholds, with each elim being 1 point. If you guys have been with us in the past, this is not new to you, but if you're tuning in for the first few times, what's up? Great to see you. Great to have you. That's the format. Sup, boo? I'm Zeke. This is GB, or Golden Boy.
GB's fine. I like
to call you GB.
You know, I'm a grown man, so call myself Golden Boy. Once a broadcast. Once a broadcast.
Once a broadcast.
Once a broadcast.
That's all good, though. So check it out. We got 51 players, 31 duo partners. So this number in the top right, 31 needs to drop all the way to 15 before we start giving out placement points. So that's what you got to keep your eye on, see how quickly the lobby decides to dwindle. But dude, we're near lazy, so depending on where we move from here could be very devastating, especially if we opt to go back over the water. Makes that play space very difficult to navigate.
Yeah, not a lot of terrain to work with. I do want to comment, though, on KF and Soy Sink's loadout here, because this minigun, I love the use of the minigun, because in a duo situation,
get it down!
Trap door, edit down. Sarky out of here. And Sarky, was just unaware. There's actually going to be another player there as well. Did he box him in? He got the trap out. Does the damage. I think that may have been against a player he had already down. But despite that, though, as I was mentioning right before that rude interruption, I think that the minigun play in duos is so great, because when you have this weapon, it allows you on the high ground. Players are just like, what's going on? There's so much incoming fire your way, that the time to respond. You're constantly playing defense. Look at this here, right? So now he could just, Soysings could look around and see if a player is going to be poking through. And as they're just continuing to fire, they can benefit from that. They can just continue to apply more pressure with this high ground spot. They have rockets. They have a minigun. They have all of the pressure weapons that you could possibly want in Fortnite.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, they even have the half shields if they want to look to make trades with people. The minigun is very scary, right? The moment you hear it wind up, people around you are going to go, oh, okay, let's just make sure we're protected. Is the roof up? Like, are these metal walls? I don't want to get beamed, and that's exactly what's happening. That's why you see no one trying to challenge them. Unless you're Poe, who was just trying to get a little bit of high ground. You know, you can't blame him for that.
And Poe tried to make a play, but ended up paying dearly for that one. That's going to be number 8 for the duo of Soysing and KF. Did he connect with the rocket? A player's going to be right below him as well. Does actually own a lot of that, but now the rotation's going to start to happen here. And you're going to see that floor and a pyramid be placed. The double protection on the high ground. We also have some trees here, too, that are going to cover the vision, right? That are going to allow Soysings and KF to continue to push freely. 55 builds, though, for Soysings. I want him to just be mindful of that. If potentially KF has a little bit more on the builds category, maybe Soysings doesn't take the lead as far as building is concerned. Let his teammate try and utilize that. Or, as we're seeing here, go for that high ground play.
Oh, no!
Oh, no, is going to eat the rocket. Is that was his own rocket?
It was.
Oh, that has to hurt there. Soysings needs to play very careful. This has been a great game for them so far, and I would not want to see it end like that.
That was very devastating. We saw the player, he tried to drop down, but they dropped the roof, so the rocket exploded in his own face. There's still action to be had. Check out Saw here, finds elimination down low. There's going to be shots to follow up. He's going toe-to-toe with different players left and right.
What is I saw you, monster! Everything was going wrong for you there, and then finally Vipex is going to end the run, but that was absurd, the run of eliminations that we saw in the ultimate low ground. Madness, absolute madness. And look at where this safe zone is trekking through. There's this weird hill. You also have some trees that are going to create some more cover opportunities for player on the high ground. This is not the best spot that you want to be in here. There's so much wonky terrain.
Yeah, we are going to be changing elevation, especially move along this little sand seashore. What would you call this? Like, it's a lagoon, but what would you call like the edges of the lagoon where the sand is?
Yeah, I guess it's, you know, like is it a beach?
A beach type thing.
Yeah, I don't really know because I'm from New York and we don't really. I mean, our only beach is Coney Island, and if you've never been there, it ain't all that good. So
I've never been outside, so I don't know.
Yeah, this is true. See, I'm glad you came out of your box today. That is, it makes us very happy. You know, it's good to see you, bud. Glad you can make it out of there. Well, maybe
we like to have fun here.
Yeah, we do. Maybe in snow out of the game here, and maybe loses that campfire. No, actually,
it's still down low. Yeah, it just got blown out right there.
All right,
it's okay. We're going back away. So we're basically going over where we just came from, going back in this little corner bottom left of the map. So a lot of these players. Yeah, it's going back over this.
Into the water, I believe.
No, it's going away. Look at the little dot. That little,
okay.
Yeah. So it's telling you where it's going to go. Basically over old builds. So a lot of these players potentially could recycle things. We'll have to see. Keep in mind, at top 5, we just hit another round of placement points. Top 5 is the next set as this player drops down in the box. Maybe we'll find a pickup on Rick. 8 players, 7
Needs the builds. Didn't get enough of that. Only is going to have 6 builds remaining. And you have 8 players left in this lobby. Only 1 pair. And that's going to be the MES crew. Laserview and Ravux will be.
Everyone else must be up top.
Yeah, all up top. And that's going to be the only duo. And they're in the ultimate low ground, which is kind of shocking. What? I'm like just popped up in front of Maybe. Got a few more builds from that one. Maybe needs to look up.
I believe so because, okay, we see some of the tracers coming out.
Look at this build.
No, you have to get up, build up. You have to 90 out. You are not, this is a hill. You cannot
crack the 90s when you have 0 builds, Zeke.
Oh, no. Oh, he found him. He got it. It's okay. Does he find builds, though? He did. You see him building. He's got at least something.
Gonna get out. Maybe he is going to be safe. Maybe safe. And there's going to be only 3 players remaining, and one's going to go up. It's a 1v1v1. This is it. The final moments. E-Punks needs to look up above him. Maybe doesn't have the HP to survive this. And then for Freddy also at 60 HP. But E-Punks is going to get knocked out, and E-Punks is out of here. Is Maybe going to win the game? And he's right above him. him, and Mavy gets the victory royale. I can't believe it. The elimination came through, gave him the HP, and then because of that was able to pick up the win. What an ending that was. Mavy, you trooper, to stay in the game when the odds were so against you. It's like, that is the most John Cena thing I've ever seen.
Listen, I hope Sundown breaks that down for us a little later on, because that was absolutely insane and very well played. You called it out, right? He ran out of mats, and still, with that elimination, was enough to get him back in the game, supercharge and give him a bunch of momentum, and it was enough to clutch that up. Huge shout out to you, but now we have even more games to be had. Hopping in with 51 players here in this lobby, 28 of them being duos. And when you're Pleasant Park, dude, half in, half out circle. Really quickly, by the way, if you're new, we're hopping into the ends of these games. So it's either circle 4 or circle 5 and on. So we're skipping the looting, the drop, the bus driver.
All of Bala's favorite parts.
Yep. My favorite is thanking the bus driver every time. Hey, thank you, sir, for running your business 24/7. I appreciate you. I'm now going to hop out to my deck. I'll see you, though. I'll see you in like 7 seconds.
See, yes, we'll do this song and dance again, and then I'll thank you again. Well, we got Pepper and Harmy, who we saw, I believe, in the first game that we jumped in from the break. Pretty good duo, M10 duo. Quite formidable here. 50 blue on that one, and I'm numb goes down.
Oh, you are numb now.
I like that. I was waiting for the pun from you, brother. You did not disappoint.
I got you. That's my job.
That's the first elimination for this duo.
So here's the thing, right? So we have to remember that we're playing with the top 1,500 duos. These are the 3,000 of the best in the region, right? So it's okay to kind of go into that mid-game, right around mid-game, where 50 people are still remaining and have no eliminations. Because especially if you're trying to get those top points in placement, people are going to be running around in front of you, right? You called it out in the last game. Someone just ran out in the open and gets bopped like that. These are things that are going to happen. And here's the qualifiers per region. There on the right side of your screen, you can see how many are up for grabs right now.
And right now, we actually have, when we checked into the standings, our #1 duo in Europe. At that point was Airwalks and Nikov. They had 59 points, 32 eliminations, and 2 victory royales. We'll see if this one fares out better for them here. Is that a double rocket? That is a double rocket. Absolute destruction. Absolute destruction there.
They would like to devastate the battlefield as everyone knows it, and it works out because they found an elimination, and they're going to launch pad out, reposition. I mean, they've got a kit to, they're ready. They want to take these fights at close range.
Yeah, and as they should. They have the skill to be able to do so. And this is a great play as well. Let's explain why. Because when you put these traps down, especially the poison trap, that is going to be 3 sections up. So if you're just above them, you're going to get hit by the poison trap. So it's just good defense in case players try to get a little too aggressive and dive onto you. But they're playing so well. They're continuing to just carpet the upper ground here, hold the high ground completely, give themselves some more time on to defend themselves here, right? And they're racking up eliminations with these explodes. They're using these so well, Zeke.
Now keep in mind, Airwalks himself is out of rockets, but that's okay. If he finds an elimination, someone else could have some. But his teammate here, Nikov, does have more. We saw and hear a reload coming out. So now this means Airwalks is going to be looking to isolate.
He got more?
He passed in more rockets? Okay. These guys are playing demo right now, okay? They're just sending rockets down below, fracturing builds, just making sure everyone's super uneasy, forcing them into these weird positions and making them just like panic.
This is such a stack lobby, by the way. I just saw Benji Fishy there as well.
And Savage.
I saw Skype, Savage, who's going to be out of this one, and Vato as well from Lestream. They're still going to be in the action. Benji Fishy qualified for the solos portion of the Fortnite World Cup last week. Maybe could be looking to qualify once again. Only 4 spots up for grabs in the European region. The dynamite, feel the boom. You just want to throw the dynamite down, set it, and forget it. Picks up an elimination there. And all of these players here continuing to just jockey for position. But Benji Fishy manages to snag yet another down and elimination. That was going to go on to Crusher. The M10 crew still going to be in the action. Just as I say that, they go off in the action feed. You saw it pop up there. And Benji Fishy trying to just stay alive. So many explosions happening around him. You just want to play defense. Didn't get that clean edit down, but pushes in and trying to see where Benji Fishy is. So Benji Fishy still going to be going a Mongrel. Mongrel's in this game as well. This is a who's who of European Fortnite here, folks. I think I saw Jarl there as well. Lots of great players are going to be left in the scuffle. And Benji Fishy trying to punish some of these players are going to be outside here in the storm. They continue to go down like flies. 11 players remaining. Benji Fishy manages to take down Skype. You got to thirst them right away so you can get the siphon. More players as well. And Benji Fishy waiting this one out now. And up above, it's Nikov and Airwalks. And in Mongrel is going to get
still
hit
have
by
rockets.
a rocket. They have more rockets, Zeke. How do they have more rockets? It's like they got every single rocket on the server. It's just not fair. But this is their territory. This is their land. And they're going to do everything that they can to defend it. Airwalks and Nikov, beast mode at this point in time. You got Ozkervo, who's going to have 7 eliminations, along with Ivesy.
Oh my God!
But Nikov gets another one down there onto Prago. That's going to leave us with just 6 players remaining. Endrian's going to go down. It's going to just be Ozkervo. But Airwalks and Nikov, they have him. They have him tucked in a corner. And Ozkervo, you're not going to be long for this world, because this game belongs to the Solary boys. Airwalks and Nikov, victory royale.
My God, that was an absolutely mind-blowing performance, and I think to hear more on that and some other neat stuff, let's send it over to Dr. Lupo and Sundown for that rundown.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. We had a moment earlier. We looked at the standings with Sundown, and I mean, you even said yourself, of the 3 matches that they had played up until that point, 2 of them were victory royales, and you can see from that example exactly why. They had a top-down view. They had ownership, honestly, in my opinion, of the entire map for a majority of that end game. There's a reason they're on top. They have chemistry that I don't think we've seen from very many players so far, and I think that goes without saying for everybody from Solary. There's these European players, they know exactly what to do every step of the way. Now, to take a look at those steps, those specific key pieces, Sundown, what do you got for us?
Thank you so much, Lupo. Yeah, so we're going to take a look at some of the gameplay and some of the high-level execution it takes to get victory royales and get clutch eliminations on this stage. So first, I want to give a shout-out to Botcher. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, blocking the Boogie Bomb with the line of sight, building himself out, and then using all of his utility to put himself in an advantageous situation. So the Storm, in this case, does 10 damage per tick. Each one of the campfires heals him for 2. Which means he's taking 4 damage per tick since he had 3, gives him 25 seconds to pop a med kit. So as long as he pops it before halfway through, he'll get that off. Didn't even need it. Now, Vino here, his self-awareness and his ability to move through the tarp and utilize the RPG to get quick eliminations, like catching the person as they go to window peek, catching the player just before he puts the cone down. Brilliant there, and we talk about being ready to fight on the backside of the circle. Bysaw doing it incredibly here, committing to so many of these fights and racking up a quick 3-piece of eliminations and then able to get around the side of the circle. I mean, brilliantly executed from him there, but unfortunately, Vipix cleaning that one up, and the casters asked for it, so I figured we'll give them what they want. Maybe with a brilliant performance to run it down. So at this point, it is a duo versus the rest of the world, with Maybe being one of those. It's a heavy snipe and a dream, but the dream comes in the form of that pump, and I'm Life just not necessarily being aware there, seeing the player running right in front of him, but now Maybe here, this is really where he does it. Gets the turnover onto Ravux, uses the siphon to then get to the outside. Now he's still here tracking the player, trying to find him on the high ground. Knocks him down, gets the siphon as well, which gives him a little bit more room to work with as he turns around and finds the player who had run out of mats. There's nothing he could have done. I mean, that low ground victory in a 1v the rest of the world situation has got to feel amazing, Lupo.
I'm going to be honest, at a certain point, you were doing the math at the very beginning there, and I imagine the gif of the guy with the numbers floating around his head, trying to add it all up. I would have just thrown the campfires down and kept my fingers crossed. And with the awareness, like you said, Maybe at the very end there, absolutely insane, picking up siphon heals outside in the storm, fighting his way back in, and just playing the low ground warrior position, not putting himself in a terrible spot, just kind of biding his time, knowing exactly when to strike and exactly where to strike, coming away with the victory royale. Now, we've seen a number of games so far today. Thank you again to Zeke and Goldboy for casting those. Up until now, we have a new standings update, right, Sundown?
Yes, we do have a new standings update, so let's take a look. Again, there will be only 4 spots up for grabs, so again, here is that line. And you can see it's quickly turned into a battle for that 4th place, sort of. The top 3 starting to section themselves out. But with that being said, there's always a possibility of a huge game. However, one thing I do want to call out, the top 3 here, their spread between eliminations to placement, 49% to 51 right here for Airwalks and Nikov. Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage a little towards either side, 57 to 43% for eliminations. Mongro and Mitro, 51% to 49. We've talked about it, a strong, balanced approach for all going for high eliminations, but playing for the late game to give yourselves more of those opportunity is what is allowing these guys to succeed. And in reality, any of these guys, I mean, we see DRG, the player who was able to clutch up last week and win in a tiebreaker situation to qualify for the grand finals, has now bumped himself up onto that top page. And realistically, anybody here or anybody within kind of a 10 to 12 point swing at the end could challenge for one of those top 4 spots.
Now, those top 3 duos, those are absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
If you jump into a match against players like that, you see those names in the feed, I inside would panic. I don't know about you guys at home, but that's kind of nightmare fuel for me, Sundown. They're incredibly good. The awareness is through the roof. And Jack and I had an opportunity to talk about it in the past. We've mentioned it a number of times. So many things. It's almost like sensory overload when it comes down to the last few rotations in some of these games. So people at home, you have to realize these players are at the top of their game the entire time. There's a reason that they're first, second, third, fourth, wherever they are on the board. They're top 10 for sure. They're playing out of their mind, and they've earned that spot thus far. That being said, we have more matches up. We still have Zeke and Golden Boy. Gentlemen, if you don't mind, take it away.
That's right. Speaking of nightmare fuel, you got Golden Boy and Zeke here.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like a dream come true, okay? At least that's what my mom tells me, all right? All right.
Zeke, you're just a dream come true.
Oh, she's Hispanic.
Oh, yeah. She's
Oye, mijo.
you are a dream come true, and I love you.
That's not Spanglish. She would just say it. That's very all right. Anyway, let's hop into the game.
That's how when I imitate my mother, that's typically what I end up doing.
Is that how she sounds?
No, she doesn't at all. Actually, she sounds more like a New Yorker than anything else. But it's always just funny to just like envision, you know, like my Puerto Rican mother just being just very Puerto Rican. You know, it's always great. All right, well, we're back in the action, folks, and we hope you guys have been having a good time. You saw the top 3 duos at the top there. Some of the biggest names in European Fortnite. And I agree. I saw Mongrel pop up there for a moment, and even though he had 10 HP, I was still afraid of him.
So
that's how good he is. Oh my God! 382? Yeah, you're going down. Yeah, you're going down.
You know, that's what happens when you peek for just a moment and someone has a heavy sniper. You got to make sure you respect the player. You got to be aware of what they potentially could have.
Watch your face.
I believe there was no. Okay, so he's in the box. Yep. So they're gonna crack. Oh, very nice. So the revive almost came through. But that blowing out the floor there, they were sitting on a roof tile, or a roof, so
yeah,
it's
they
okay.
went to the right. They don't see the movement. No, they don't.
They have to. Nope, it's going to go through. It's going to go through. We're seeing that player stand back up.
We'll be able to pick up, but their back is against that storm. They only have 30 seconds, and it's going to start to move, so they have to move like right now. But we'll worry about them later. I'm sure that, you know, for Fluids and for Janitor.
Oh, no. This was not the way you wanted things to go down.
No, they're down. Exactly. They saw it. They knew that they didn't have time to move. That was a point that they wanted to get, and that will just continue to add up here. So close to 15th place, where they can start to get some placement points, Zeke.
You really got to be careful especially when someone beams you and you go down and you get the revive. You've got to be aware. These guys, they know you've gone down. They know you're in that critical only 30 HP. They want that elimination. You got to be more careful when you're making rotations.
And at this level, these players, they're keeping track of everything. If they see that, you know, they know where your options are. They're looking at the builds and they're recognizing, okay, maybe he goes back. They can't go too far back because his back's against the storm. They go to the right. Cool. We know that we have them either way. But here we go now. Storm is about to move in just a little bit. Only a couple seconds remaining. Dynasty Carnage, no shields, along with Azelov. That has to hurt. All these players are surrounded by players that have a lot of HP, a lot of health to go and take these fights straight up. So they're going to have to play smart. Now we have Zeron and Zynox here. They're waiting. There's a player actually to the left side here. of Zeron, but the community launch.
No, he bonked his head.
No, they're all going to get bonked. They're all going to get bonked. Oh, no. Oh, no.
He's still there. He's on the other side of the wall.
Oh, no. The dude managed to pick up the elimination there onto Azeloff, and I mentioned on Azeloff before, very weak. His teammate Carnage does manage to get out of there, but Zeron is going to be left for the back of the storm for the time being. Carnage is trying to stay up. You also have some ballers that are going to circle about here. You got to be careful, because if you see that cracked baller, some players may just go for the shot. They don't want to deal with your shenanigans if you're hanging out in a baller.
Yes and no. So when they do crack the baller, there's like a moment to fire back, and that's why you see some of these players like he just walked right up to that duo and they didn't retaliate. It's because they just want to make sure, right? You want to just be like, look, this guy's not gonna mess with me.
Yeah.
Now, unless you're real brave, then you roll up, hop out the baller, and just dome them. In which case, my God, I'm gonna lose my mind. But
well, my concern there is there were two players literally staring at him.
they were
So,
right.
You know,
they were like,
I'm
yes,
always worried about that.
Top of the morning to you. All right.
Yeah, but there's always that other added risk to it as well, and you do want to mitigate that as much as possible. Put yourself in a winning position. Zeron manages to pick up an elimination there as well. That's going to be number 2 for Zeron. Not a lot of builds. Just going to need to find some more elims, but continues to take more shots. And those are more times. The more times he has to reset, reshield up, get back into the swing of things here.
Yeah, for sure. And keep in mind, he is by himself. Xenox is gone. He does have that heavy snipe and RPG combo, so keep an eye on that. He's going to fire a shot out, switch the heavy sniper, and then shoot the wall or structure out, and then RPG is going to come in through potentially finding eliminations. He does get cracked for quite a bit, though. He's okay. Oh, 122! Oh, my God, that was a disgusting flick shot. It's okay. He's still in this. That siphon comes through. Jimmy, he's got to do something. He's
got to get out of these. Still manages to take out Snozq, and Snozq was not expecting that at all, and he will get the siphon from that. You just got to wait for that player to go down, stay alive. There's going to be another one right next to him, throws down the ramp, but goes back into the hovel. But he challenges outside, 44 blue, and he's going to get challenged inside the box, but won't be able to stay alive. That was a great run there from Zeron, but not enough. And up above, you have 2 players from 2 different duos, Pyko and Jexy. Jexy in the ultimate high ground. Wonder what the resources are looking like for Jexy. But down low, look at all of the players there. And there we have the split view. So Jexy has 45. You might want to get a little bit lower, but you're just going to wait this out. See if you can continue to get some more eliminations.
Yeah, he is a little bit high. He could afford to come down 1 more grid, but he wants to make sure that if someone tries to challenge high ground, he can retaliate. We see players going down all the way there in the low ground. Keep in mind, guys, there's only 1 duo left. You can tell in the top right, 8 players, 7 of them being duos. So it's 2v the world, as Sundown likes to say. We see Jaquan trying to approach Jexy, and he's like, no, friend, my high ground, stay away.
Look where this is going, by the way. This is going to go up the hill, and Jexy has that high ground, so these players are going to have to push on up and 90 their way. You got to crank those 90s, baby. But Jexy's not going to give you the opportunity to do just that, and Jakari's going to be losing HP. This is Jexy's game to win. Jaquan's going to be out of this one. Demon's out of it. Jexy got it, and there you have it. The victory royale. Jexy maintained high ground position the entire time and never looked back. You know, I stand corrected. We mentioned earlier, maybe you might want to get a layer or 2 down, but Jexy's plan, recognize it. That's why I'm here, and Jexy's there picking up those victories.
Yeah, I like when people are very mindful. A lot of times in the chaos, you kind of forget where you are, and then the mountain ends up overtaking you, and then if someone's above you, they box you out. You have to try and punch through their metal, wood, brick, etc. to try and get up. And he just maintained high ground. It's like, these guys have to come to me. I'm not going to change my elevation. I'm going to gatekeep them. They're just sitting in front of me, and that's enough to get him the win.
Yeah.
Now we move on to the next game with the Vyar twins, Baba Bless, Stevlar.
Very impressive victory royale there. That was very cool to watch. But now we got, oh no, these 2 players are actually going to be down low, and we're getting pressured right away. Can the Vyar duo push in? These guys, they're waiting for them. They know exactly where they are. Can they hold this one down? He's going to go in. Stevlar is going to go down. 1 more player, and that's going to be the cleanup. And Baba Bless will get 4. That's 5 total. They got to get the pickup here. He will be able to get the res. Shouldn't get chunked for too much. I think they commit to it.
I don't like this. I don't like. Unless they have a rift, is there? Please, there. Okay. That's the only way that works. By the way, otherwise you're going back down.
Yeah. Oh, and the ultimate high ground at the top of the volcano. And look at this. This is dangerous territory, man. Dude. Like, I mean, we're kind of going away from the top of the volcano, but even then, it's like, oh man, there's just so much awkward terrain that's going to be about these players will need to deal with.
Before we really, I just want to touch on something. Observers, you guys are killing it. Keep doing it because that was the sickest fly through I think I've seen so far. Very okay, Snatter.
He already had it.
Okay, so it was just to confirm.
I think he already had him down. Yeah.
I was gonna say if you just got him with the stinker, that's you hate to see it. 5 HP straight to your health bar. I love that he's got 4 more though, GB. These items are so they only increase in value the longer you go on in the game. Especially as that effective play space is shrinking. Drop it on the ground. You're like, all right, everybody. No, it's only 5 damage. Just walk inside the sting cloud. It's okay.
Yeah, you would think that, but those things.
It smells terrible.
That too. Good thing I don't have a gag reflex. You know. Imagine if we had Fortnite smell-o-vision.
It's just a 4D experience.
Yeah, 4D. I went to go see a movie in 4D. Do not recommend. It's not very good. It's just like really weird, just blowing wind in your face. It just made no sense. I was like, this is not what I need right now. Please, just let me watch my movie in peace. Anyway, Quentin and Luna here want to be left in peace. They would very much like just make it to the top 15 with no problem whatsoever. They'd pick up some eliminations, something cheeky like that. Oh, gets the player off of the jump pad. There's going to be another one there as well. Fall into the storm. They get anyone that's rotating out of this one. That's 2 eliminations. Hey, not bad. They wanted to be left alone in peace, and they got just what they wanted. And some elims to boot.
Exactly. Now we keep things going, man. Don't forget, guys, top 15 is first round of placement points. That's what these guys are vying for. Those points are so crucial to their game. 3 points up for grabs just for hitting top 15. And now let's hop in with Nico and Lucky's. They have 3 eliminations between them. So this is going to make rotating difficult, especially if we go up that volcano. If we go north side, it's going to get hectic quick. Let's hope we go anywhere else. We'll find out here in about 3 seconds. The stress is through the roof. Okay,
we're going far away, and we're going away from the lava as well.
Listen, I love.
But we're gonna go through the lava. Bear in mind, and players might pay this one dearly. Lucky's gonna push into Nico, Lucky's pushes in. Where was Nico? Nico gonna be up above him, actually right next to him. I stand corrected there, and there's Keolis as well. What a shot
in the floor place! That was so gross.
Nice shot there from Keo. 5 eliminations for this duo. Keo representing Vitality, very prominent French organization. I've had the opportunity to cast many games from this squad.
No!
Oh no! Oh no! That hurts. That's a rough one, but that's okay. You go past that one, you just get that mental reset, and you go right back into the game. Hawkers, though, does need an elimination. And Quentin, right there, so weak. Less than 150 HP for Quentin. They don't know that he's right below them. Got 12-year-old kid back in the lobby once again. And the geyser. Utilizing the geyser just to stay up and recycling that geyser again. So going back to the well, Zeke.
Yeah, I mean, you want to stay close enough like they're doing to be able to continue tarping out over all the action down below. But as you can see, there's a bunch of other players that did the same thing.
Hawkers had a minigun out. I wonder if Hawkers maybe managed to snag or do some damage to a few of them.
He definitely scared them. All right, when you hear a minigun spin up, that's not where you want to be. You need to leave immediately. I'm curious to see if Keo can find...
Oh, no! Oh!
Okay, listen.
Okay, it's okay. Reset again. A lot of things are just not going in their favor, right? Hitting themselves with a boom, bow, getting the sinkers, but it's all good. We're picking up the downs, right? Get those eliminations. Get back into this game. They still have the high ground. Zeke, things are working out for them. But when you're in these moments, this is where you got to calm the nerves. And I know that may just seem easy for me to say as simply a commentator, but you have to. Because think about it like this. In these moments here, these are going to be the moments that you will be playing in New York City if you make it to the Fortnite World Cup final. There's going to be a crowd there screaming, going crazy, cheering on you at those moments. You have to just calm it down and play your game in those moments.
That's right, man. Everyone else as well in the lobby is very great.
There you go.
You have to respect them. A very great 170 to the dome. Now, keep in mind, Hawkers is dangerously low. If that storm wall touches him, he will be going down. He needs to find something. It is a 2v1v1 right now.
They got the...
Okay. Oh, God. That's so crucial right now. Okay, so keep in mind, they're ticking up, but they're moving away from that campfire. He's only going to have so...
Nice
oh, my God!
With the boom bow.
Okay, he's good. You know, everything's okay. It's a 2v1. He cracks himself.
It's okay.
You got to be careful, friend. You have to be careful.
They will be able to outlive Skies, though. Skies is going to be all the way down low, the ultimate low ground you could possibly have here. And he's going to be funneled with shots, lasered with that boom bow, potentially taking the splash damage from that, or maybe even the minigun. But they're going to own this. Hawker's waiting for the opportunity to strike.
Did it again. He cracked himself. He's only hurting himself the more he misses these shots.
They threw down the trap. There you go. The connection comes in. He put I think that was his own trap for the defense, but wow. Just an ending there that was absolutely absurd. Zeke has to go take a cold shower for now.
You can't see me. I'm walking around right now.
He's
so
pacing.
scared that Keel was actually going to boom bow himself.
He's pacing.
Bufo, please. Just take it away. I need a deep breath.
Floor is yours.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Yeah, that boom bow almost bit back there at the end, but a trap play, potentially, into a shotgun blast from above. The edit caught the victory royale. Pretty crazy. Now, I will say, a number of these plays have been literally down to the last second for the amount of damage that some players need to take to get the victory royale. It's been tight-knit all the way up to the very end, and we're going to have more as soon as we come back from a 5-minute break. Don't go anywhere. I'll know if you leave.
Jump on and drop in. It's time to kick off the Fortnite World Cup competition. From April 13th to June 16th, we'll be running Fortnite World Cup Online Opens, where you can qualify to compete for your chance at a piece of the $30 million prize pool. But how will these work, you ask? Each week will alternate back and forth between solos and duos competition, with players qualifying from each server region in Oceania, Asia, Europe, Brazil, NA East, and NA West. To find specifics for your server region, go to Fortnite.com/World Cup. To play in the online opens, you'll need to compete in the new Arena mode, an always-on form of competition where players can rank up tiers and leagues. It all starts in the Open League, and when players earn 125 points, they'll advance into Contenders League. After that, you'll need to build your way up to 300 points to unlock Champion League, where the Saturday Online Open players will be chosen. Then, we'll take the top 3,000 solo players or 1,500 duos from that Saturday's semifinals and advance them to the Sunday finals. Each Sunday, 20 players will rise to the top and qualify to join us in New York for the Fortnite World Cup Finals. Buckle up, because we're officially on the road to the Fortnite World Cup Finals.
I didn't start off the qualifier too great. It was like the late games where I think I won a game with 6 kills, and then my last game alone I went from 54 to 65, so every game matters. I'm just glad that I qualified the first week of solos, and I guess my practice paid off.
Yeah, I've never really been like, oh my god, what could this turn into? No, I kind of just like live it day by day, and I enjoy every single moment that I can. It's absolutely enjoyable. To come into like the World Cup, which is basically the most competitive event so far, you know, you have everybody around the world, everybody's allowed to compete, and then to just come out of the gates and qualify for the first week is just absolutely amazing. Like,
it's a special sensation. I want to be the best player. I want to be better than all people and progress myself. I need to play more aggressive and more play the high ground.
So far I'm the only Finnish person and it feels awesome. Like I can maybe give the best representation for Finland. I don't know if they actually understand how big this is, but after the news, all of them have been like congratulating me, and it's a huge influx of like new support, and it's overwhelming.
I have a few close friends, and they're just blown away. What is this? This is what you've been doing, and thankfully they're very supportive. I think we have a really good roster. We picked up some really good players. I think I put out a good first impression.
everybody, welcome back to the Fortnite World Cup. I'm Alex Golden Boy Mendez.
I'm Zeke Mateus.
Yes, for the distinction. Welcome, everybody. We're very excited that you're joining us here. Just so everyone is aware as well, Dr. Lupo does, in fact, have a list of the people who left. And just so you know, you're on his list. So, sorry, guys. I tried to convince him.
He's coming.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming. Did you keep track of the list?
There
Exactly.
you go.
There you go.
He's on his way to you right now.
I don't make the rules. I honestly don't make the rules. You know, I feel bad for all you people. But anyway, let's move on with the show because that's the world we live in, obviously. So, Zeke, I know that we're getting very close to the tail end of Europe here. Some great matches. We had the opportunity to cast some of the best duos in European Fortnite, go toe-to-toe against one another, sometimes even in the same server. It was ridiculous. Where are we at right now with the standings?
Well, Golden Boy, let's take a look together, see how things are shaking out. Right here at the top, Secret Mongrel and Atlantis Mitro. No surprise, all right? We've seen these guys compete a lot. These guys are one of the most terrifying duos coming out of Europe, period, right? Second place, you got Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage. Very quickly, Benji, I'm very upset that you have changed away from the fish sticks skin. I need you to go back to your roots, okay? All right?
Disappointing.
Disappointing. Third place, Solary Airwalks and Nikov. These guys are putting on such a dominant performance. Up in fourth, you got Trains Seth and DRG. In fifth, E11's Tachinkin and Stompy. In sixth, Atlantis Kedger and SNG Tripper. And I'm sorry if I said that wrong.
Bjergs.
You know, I'm trying. Seventh is Bjergs and Benji, both from S Puma. In eighth, you got Vitality Keo and BTL's Hawkers. Ninth, you got Don't Be Furious and Flory XN. 10th, and Hoods, Lucy and AZ.
As Curvo.
Thank you.
That's how I was saying.
That's how you said.
Once again, if we mess up the names, you have all the permission in the world to just. There's a lot of players, okay, and there are a lot of new faces. At least for myself, you can message both of us.
Yeah, just hit us up on Twitter. Seriously, at Golden Boy, at Zeigmas Prime. He's hard to pronounce.
We're already doing it.
Won't get it wrong again. But seriously, guys, check out the points right now. 79, 40 eliminations coming out for Mongrel and Mitro. This is absolutely huge. The next best team we've got here is second Benji's Savage, as well as right here you got Bjergs and Benji.
I'm more interested in the fight for the bubble, right? Where we are right now, the fourth place spot, because that's it, right? Your fourth and fifth place spots. That's what we would refer to as the bubble when it comes to talking about standings. And there is not that much of a discrepancy between those two places there. So everyone's going to be on the top of their game. It's going to be very intense. But Zeke, it has been very fun so far to catch all the European action. Oh boy, but this is certainly not going to end yet because we have more games that are coming up in a little bit. I believe we have our casters standing by, or the casters standing by. Do we have them? Oh, here they come. Here they come now. Okay, I like how Sundown just bunny hops in, but then Jack just walks in and just tries to look as swole as possible.
No, I swear, that wasn't even the goal. I went to start walking in and doing something funny.
I'm sorry. I actually thought you were trying to look swole, so that just shows how swole you actually are.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I've been in the gym a week and a half, but folks, we're back. Thank you so much, Golden Boy and Zeke. Two fantastic pals, but I'm excited for this one because while Dr. Lupo is handsome and knowledgeable about Fortnite, Sundown is basically a direct upgrade across the board.
Oh, don't even.
Look at those lovely locks. Known as one of the smartest men in the business. All things about the game and players. I'm going to be picking his brain in this one. So if you want to hear more about these European players, I'm going to be asking them questions here. The game's already, I'm already starting to walk.
I was just about to say, let's get right on into it because like you said, we saw these standings. It's been nuts. Currently, our highest elim leader is Hexoria. NGL_POE sitting at 5. 44 players remaining in the server, 26 duos, so 8 solo riders out there. And if you are just joining us, welcome. We are in the European region for the Fortnite World Cup Online Open as a great heavy snipe there into the double pump coming out from ATAA to pick up an elim there. But as I was saying, we are in the Fortnite World Cup Online Open number 2, the first duo qualifiers. We've already seen 2 duos go through from Asia and Oceania, and we're looking to add 4 more coming out from Europe right here, Jack.
Absolutely. There again on the top right is how many qualifiers there are per region coming out today. Europe, 4 spots, the most of Any region but Sundown, just to clarify for people at home, that doesn't mean that Epic Games likes Europe the most, right? It just means it's based off what exactly?
It's based off of the server population size and then competitive participation. So trying to make sure we get an accurate representation for where the players are located, just trying to make sure it's fair and everyone gets an opportunity and gets a chance to be represented.
Perfect. You love to hear that, as it is the World Cup for a reason. Hopping on over to Comey and T-Lac, who currently have 0 eliminations, but they're in the position that you love to be in these moving zones where you're set up early and able to just fire at everyone who's running around from the biggest enemy of all, the zone. Pushing from the back, you see the Torque duo right there trying to scale the side of this mountain. Wonder if they know that they have 2 players just behind them as Comey continues to spray on through. Here's his teammate with a knock on 1. And I believe the elimination will probably come on through. Yes, there it is. As Mosey does get cut down. It seemed like you were surprised the player didn't realize there was someone right next to him.
I mean, you have to be aware of what walls you're owning, particularly when you get into these almost turtle-like situations, when you are in the 1x1s and you're starting to tunnel out. If you don't own a wall, you need to make sure you at least have a ramp in the way or an edited cone in the way. So there's at least one layer of protection there, because otherwise that happens right there and you get sent back to the lobby.
Absolutely. As we cycle towards the middle of the zone, Zooer, a target of many, as they've got the tallest 1x1 tower right here. Over to Ada and Noji. Looks like it's time to build on out. The quick edit comes on in on the pyramid. Spray towards both players, but great reactions. Again, these are the top players in this region. So if you miss that first bullet, I can almost guarantee you won't have a chance to get a second one down range. Slowly floating towards this zone. Looks like they're going to go ahead and set up on the low ground right near this next vent. And the vents, for really everyone in the lobby, it gives them a moment to kind of breathe a sigh of relief, right? For a lot of the players here, because they have a free opportunity to rotate, reset a fight, anything along those lines.
That's really what they're looking for. It's a chance to not have to burn through those mats.
Yep.
You get to potentially go challenge for high ground, or at least get to the other side of the circle, other side of the safe zone, or then take some peeks back, like you see Eric doing right here now, utilizing the heavy sniper to put some pressure on those players who did control high ground. And in fact, they're going to take it themselves right here.
Yeah, and this is pretty clean. Did get shot down from one player who's just above. And the downside of having high ground in an area where there's a vent nearby is that you can be contested probably a little bit more often. Thankfully, now with the way that the zone is continuing, it will be out of play. But here's some player up top now, and it looks like here comes the challenge. It's Evade Young trying to fight this on off, and that's the shot that they needed. Eric gets protected by the teammate. The 160 pump is clean, and immediately back to the RPG to the low ground.
Yeah, looking to try and hit one of those community launch pads.
No!
His teammate built, and he almost knocked himself down. Luckily, the siphon coming through right before that happened. A little bit of a miscommunication from Young and Eric, but we are inside the top 15 now, so 3 placement points have been earned as we get into the final stages here.
And if you're a fan of competitive Fortnite, we've seen that happen many times in previous competitions. It's an area of duos which completely changes when you go from solos to duos. You have to have that coordination and synergy with your teammate. It's a big reason why people love to see how people can adapt from solos into duos. Now, as we get down towards our final 15 players, shots coming in from Dizax, already 7 combined eliminations, make it 8 for this duo. The 50 health right there. Poe actually earned 50, or no, popped a med kit as well. So they'll be staying alive in this one. Now 9 eliminations. How about 10? That's Wares now knocked. The spray of the elim comes on in as more eliminations continue to light up the feed. Health now up to 86. Unfortunately, no shield, but they have made it to the top 5.
Yeah, into the top 5 now. Great work from the Hexoria duo. Unfortunately, NGL Poe going to down there, but Dizax is looking for it, but he has no builds courage. Needs to find this player, but Comey is going to pick it up. So now it's a 2v1v1. You have Fnatic, Eric, and Evade Young on the high ground. Flow on the mid-tart, knocking him down with the RPG.
Surprised actually that we're not seeing Young potentially pop one of these balloons just to float a little bit higher with that RPG, spray on down. Nothing as of yet, maybe because they haven't used it too much. They don't want to risk anything right now. There we go. Finally, the balloon's being popped. I think it's time for the airstrike being called in from Eric, and here it comes. Shots going down range from the sky, and there it is. Congratulations to Young and Eric with the victory royale right there as both players remain alive. And once they got that high ground, that's all their build from earlier on. The balloon, though, coming into play. Love to see that at the end, Sundown.
Yeah, it came up huge because then at 29 effective HP, if you're ballooned up that far in the sky and your ally is down the low ground, you're splitting the attention. One of you is going to get a free shot, but we're going to jump right on into the next match. Again, if you guys haven't watched the streams before or it's been a while since you've watched Fortnite, we've swapped up how we jump into these broadcasts, jumping in to match 5 and onward, getting into the matches, getting into the late game, seeing the rotations, and catching as much of the action as we can.
Absolutely, yes. These late game storms, obviously, you see the players who've made it to this point. 44 remaining in this game. A ton of assault rifle ammo for Villain. And for maybe someone at home that's looking to get into competitive Fortnite Sundown, it might not seem like that's something you typically would call out when there's so much else going on, but having 754 ammo, that makes a big difference as they hit a great shot on the Paro from across the map. But what does it let you do when you have that much ammunition in your back pocket?
So a big benefit is your ability to then pressure opponents, particularly as you're rotating. You don't have to worry about conserving bullets for later. As they try and convert on this knock they got, and the minigun ends up coming out. So this is what we're talking about, knowing they have the resources, and he's going to force the emergency rift out from the opponent. So knowing that they had enough medium rifle, enough small ammo to then go over there, use a launch pad, convert on the elimination, you're not worried. Whereas if you have 60 medium rifle, maybe you don't go do it because it takes you too long to end up pushing through the box and converting on that.
Yep, it's a great way to put it. You'll see it, especially coming into play late game. Love what I'm seeing right now from Sherman and Close. You see already 140 total builds possible for Sherman. They've built out quite a nice little tunnel, especially because they're pre-built into this zone. They were already here when it popped. Almost want to see if they drop materials on their body and go back and grab more. Look, yeah, maxed again.
Yeah,
they can expand that a little bit if they'd like to.
Yeah, they're going to look to tunnel out and then keep like a little reservoir. I know if you're familiar with Tfue and Cloaksy, they do a ton of that where they'll build out. I know Zayt and Saf do it as well. They'll look to build out a specific bridge or leave just a one little 1x1 where any of those excess materials are. But with the zone already being inside of it, they don't have to worry about it. They can also opt to build upwards and then just wait as we now jump on board with Meppy.
Meppy, I believe right near this edge of the zone, just peeking on out, has a good little sight line. Doyle, one shot coming out of the zone, and I believe Meppy just hit a snipe on the Skipter, dropping them one shot. Did they get the knock, though, was the question.
I think it ended up just getting straight converted over since he is in the storm. Yeah, he will go down. Somebody else was able to pick that one up. Meppy going up to the 2 elims as Gadris picks up NSK there, and we get closer to that top 15 threshold. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the point format, placement points, 10 total cumulative. There it is. 11th through 15th is 3 points. 6th through 10th gets you an additional 2 for 5 total. 2nd through 5th, another 2 for 7 total. And then the Victory Royale duo takes you away with 10.
Graphics team, that was brilliantly done. Lunch is on me. It's in the back. There you go, guys. Enjoy it. But no, for real. Meppy now pushing forward, has his own at his back. A rift to go used. Will not be able to take that one. Also, a launch pad just got dropped just behind. Not getting able to take that one either. Ooh.
We'll take that one.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and at least take the shot. And no knock, though, as of yet. Meppy continue to kind of build towards the back. Only 30 total builds remaining, and this is the downside to not having any of those movement items.
Yeah, and the knock did end up just getting converted right there. Just didn't pop up. Did get a couple of the shields coming over from that siphon, so did convert on that elim. As now we're into the top 20, and a lot of ballers left. This is the most ballers I think we've seen towards the end game. Europe, generally, particularly in duos, doesn't really allow players to have those rotations, but because we are are over in that southwest corner of the map. A lot denser, a lot more ballers spawn in that area, so not atypical to see them if a circle's over in this area.
Yep. That's a great way to put it is, oh no, Joey. They had no chance in that position that they were in. The edit comes out from Sherman. No shields, though. And now down to just 56 HP. Tries to go for the quick edit. Did get the elim to at least get back up to over 100 health. 19 HP total. Andy gets knocked to the breakthrough in time. No.
He coned himself. That's so unfortunate because he was waiting for that siphon to come back over, but Andy just now ticking out, and he was eliminated outside of that top 15, so missing out on the first 3 placement points.
And do they get that elim? Do they get that elim point because he winds up dying before the elim finishes?
He should end up getting it, assuming he didn't end up leaving the server, I believe, with that going through. So they should get the point from that, but will miss out on the 3 from the placement. So definitely not efficient there as everyone's trying to battle for as much as they can get. You see Knifer picking up a great elim there onto Wyla on the low ground.
And just staying hidden for the moment. This is where you just peek through the wood. Look, potentially someone like, let's say, you see Swayze right there with no shields, or Young with no shields, trying to drop on down and get to safety.
Nope, gets knocked there despite having the no shields, does get picked off. Now you see SVQN working his way down, trying to utilize the stinks as that zone gets closer. I mean, Zeke put it best, as this play area shrinks, if you have the high ground, just lobbing stinks down can be super effective.
Just like this, burning through so many materials on those lower players trying to dodge the stinks. Beautiful beam from up top from this duo. Youngtooth now down to just, what, 60 HP in total, if not less. Villain on the bottom right of your screen. This duo MTS just got knocked from those players on the high ground, and it looks like right now it's the players on the high ground that have the full advantage right here. We're in our 9th zone. Now.
Yeah, 9th zone, which means we are going to full closure. You have SVQN in the top right, Vilhane in that middle tarp, all alone in the bottom right, wide view on the left side. You can see how RM8_8 and his partner just have so much room here, with the circle moving back towards the older builds. I mean, they can just control it, but if they want to challenge and go for elims, they have a great angle too.
210 pump shot.
Oh, really?
And another challenge with the heavy sniper rifle. That's 2 elims back to back. 2 more points earned. Now the top 3 make it 3. Another pump shotgun to the dome, wipe the rest of the lobby, and now it's a 1 versus 2.
He just eliminated the rest of the solo contenders, taking 3 straight 1v1s, no problem for Vilhane. So now RM8 and SVQN are going to drop down and try and challenge, but Vilhane has all the momentum here. He's got to be feeling himself.
Yeah, he most certainly is, but you can have all the confidence in the world. You're now stuck in a 1v2, and they have the high ground. RM8 looking down. He's blocked off now. They're continuing to just blanket the sky. Oh, no, I feel like the zone is the biggest enemy for the moment right there. RM8 drops down, and yeah, Vilhane, he did a brilliant job getting to that point, but unfortunately, RM8 and the duo are just on the high ground with 200 HP, and you know what? They miss it, so they're cranking 90s right back up there.
Crank. But I mean, just look at that fossil, man. That's so many builds, so many people who had to tarp their way out, but now we're going to jump right on over to Gamers Origin. Miz right there, and our current elim leader is Sir, sitting on 3 elims.
3 elims, 48 players left. A very similar area of the map, actually, is where we're hopping on into.
Yeah, right over on kind of that snowy and grass area biome just outside of Tilted, heading over towards Shifty as we jump on board with Miz. Daedra already being taken out. 48 players remaining, 25 duos, so only 2 solo riders hanging out here.
You see the E11 members being focused by basically everyone right now on that western side of the zone. Miz just boxed up, trying to just be, again, I always say, kind of trying to be a shadow. Just want as little attention drawn towards you as possible when you're by yourself. I mean, look, it looks like he's been through war. Look at the health of his baller as well. 130 total builds. I think the silver lining right here, trying to preemptively get set up in the zone. This is what we talk about. We say these ballers give you basically a free rotation in these late game moments. But, oh, Miz's baller gets ripped by Ricky and Jaba. So now it's just all down to Miz and the fancy footwork that survive these zones. Shots coming in, does get 1 tag on the player gliding. Opens up the window.
This is such a great edit, and to keep right hand both times. Will he be able to? And the fact that he then re-edits the wall so that all the materials drop on his side. He now is going to put down the poison dart trap. It fires from 3 squares away.
Yep.
He owns this ramp, so if the other pressure players and a dart goes off, he can get the connection. But now he's on max mats with a little bit of that storage space in the center of the next zone, so a ton of players are going to have to rotate. For a solo effort, that's fantastic.
Yeah, this is already a great job right now. The big question that will remain if you're a fan of Miz, can they reach the top 15 for the placement points? We'll keep you up to date on that one. Kinzel all the way up top. You see players dropping on in. It's a full-fledged spray. They're trying to get anything they can, Sundown.
Yeah, and Kinzel and Villex, if you are unfamiliar with them, Kinzel has been around since the very beginning, doing incredibly well in the showdowns. That was so good from them, utilizing the heavy snipe, knowing they don't have a second sniper. So instead,
no, they do. They got a boom bow.
Rifle. Oh.
That's what that was.
The
It was a
boom
heavy
coming
snipe
through
boom
with it.
bow.
Oh my God! Yeah. So heavy snipe immediately swapped to the AR, boom bow plus the headshot, taking down that 100-100 player. That was a brilliant combo.
Yeah, it's a great bit of teamwork. Seems like there's a little bit of a close range fight for the moment right there. Jarkos and Zeke, 2 eliminations so far, 6 impulse grenades. You know, as someone who's a fan of Fortnite, my favorite game in the world, play it basically every single day. Hell, it's my job to play it and just cast it. I am so happy impulse grenades are back. They just add such a fun layer to the game. They're flashy. It's just one of those pure fun items that I think perfectly sums up a game like Fortnite. But what's kind of funny is they're like the lowest level for me of on the tier list of movement items, right? Like, sure, you're not really the happiest, you're stuck with just impulses, but moments like this, they could come into use, and I love that we're seeing it right away. Look at this. Yes, they're risky. Yes, you can take fall damage, but that just saved Jarkos from being stuck in that zone, gave him a get-out-of-jail-free card. I'm so happy they've been added back.
I mean, look what happened to Zeke, who didn't get one. One player bonks his head, is able to utilize the impulse to get midway into the zone and find another launch pad. The other player doesn't have the impulses and then has to take that risky backside of the circle rotation that we're always referring to, where there's so many players looking to not only rotate, but also frag out.
Yep, it's so perfectly done. Right there, Villex all over the engagement feed with 2 elims right there, removing Rennick and Sir from this one. We're basically playing protect the baller right now as money. It's already that one shot, but still, the opportunity to use that to scale one of these mountains could be priceless. Rift being used. Everyone tunneling along the low side of this cliff because it's a little bit harsh to have to go straight up vertically. MM and Deerox on the high side of this. Dark now one shot. Blackie now a limb. Harry frantically trying to build out of the zone, as there's now 26 players remaining, and just like that, we're now in our top 15 of the duos.
Yeah, top 15, so everyone getting the 3 points. Blackie, unfortunately, being dropped just before there, so missing out there. A great edit play for money, but it's going to drop down, finds the other player, 105, and converts with the AR. Can he get the siphon out and then protect himself? Puts down the trap just to make sure, and then gets a second to kind of reevaluate before he has to rotate out.
Oh, my goodness. You gotta bust through this metal. There we go. Get through.
Hello?
Reach the pump.
Hello?
Was that an enemy trap? It was.
I think it was. He needs to get that and drop through the floor. Can he do it? The other one's going to fire, and he does. But there's somebody waiting. Again, we talked about the backside of the circle. It's so incredibly hectic, and the players who are ready to fight and on their practice, just like that. Sebas, what?
Brilliant reaction time. Sebas with a stacked inventory at the moment. Would probably like to have a few more materials, but we'll have to make do now. 20 builds left, 14 players remaining. Boombo.
RPG in the box right over next to him, but a great pickup onto Broken. He wants to try and convert and get over and see whatever materials are there, but he heard the RPG reload come out right there from Sebas, so he doesn't want anything to do with that.
NGK just fell down from the high ground. I'm not sure if they were out of mats or got shot out, but there's the fall damage. Sebas dropping down. Azayanite all the way up top, beginning to waterfall. This lobby dropping like flies. We're down to 4 players, 3
Sebas,
players,
that was incredible.
2 players. Sebas all by themselves. There's the look on the right side of both POVs. Azayanite back up top, hearing the minis get popped.
This is so tense right now. Cebus is going for the challenge, looking for the edit out, and is trying to retake this high ground. Azenoni's not giving it to him, though, and Cebus gets the high ground from him.
Did hit one shot. There it is! Azenai with the elimination and the victory royale. A beautiful flick in the final moments. It was Cebus who was making the hero plays that you saw. But Azenai hops on in, wins the 1v1, and secures those extra 3 placement points.
That was so well played from both of those. You saw Cebus go on a 3 elim tear, taking out Diego GB as well, who had qualified for that solos. Nice seeing there in the end game, but running through, retaking high ground. But Azenai with that incredible flick. We're going to jump right on in. You see their current elim leader sitting on 5. I think it was WZKY. Apologies, missed that one going through, but now we're on board with Mikey's and Dab, who are on 4 elims combined. And make it 5.
There we go. Nice little cleanup. When you've got a weapon like an epic assault rifle, I mean, it just lets you just feel so much more confident that when you're spraying, you're going to get that elim you want. Between that and the, for me, the rare AR is like the most balanced weapon across Fortnite. For as long as it's been in. Nothing like getting the blue AR in your hands and being able to lay down fire. But into this game, 29 players in total, 17 duos left, and one of the lower amounts of players left in this lobby. And for me, I would think that that's because of where this zone has ended up, right? It's forced everyone to the southernmost part of the map. Probably more have fallen victim to the zone. Have had to have more harsh rotations where people that have been set up have been able to more freely just spray at them as the zone is non-stop pushing right at them.
Well, and also it's incredibly awkward to try and rotate down towards the southwest corner. We talked about it a little bit earlier in this block of games, how there's a lot of ballers and driftboards down in this kind of snow biome, whereas the top right, the kind of dominant form of rotation is more the cannons and the geysers. But those are fixed locations, right? You can't bring those with you. So all of a sudden, if all the ballers are still in the southwest and the circle's in the southwest, and you run out of the geysers, you're forced to rotate on foot, and allows these players to pick whatever they need.
All right, brilliant item idea. You can convert your 10 balloons into one big balloon, and you can bottle the air of the geyser to carry basically a geyser in your back pocket. I don't know. All I know is, Epic, if you want that idea and you use it without paying me, I'm going to sue you.
Celebrating the wrong holiday today. It's Easter here, Jack.
Trust me, my family's going to be eating good after I win that lawsuit, I'll tell you right now. But guess what, folks? 18 health left for Controller
Roller.
Oh.
I don't know. Controller O.
We're going to say
Controller O. Controller O. We're good. Controller O. You have Broken Spy right there. AK Nuclear with Dust next to him. Cool D, XYZ, Celestri. And you also see this backside of the circle. Dav and Mikey's right on top of each other. See Dream trying to utilize that baller and still on the safe rotation as we're so far south.
And what's funny now is because the zone was less populated on that rotation, since we joined this game, we've gone from 29 to 28. And we just had a full movement from Happy Hamlet down to the southeastern side of this POI. Basically, everybody lived. Now, as this zone continues to condense more, we're going to see these lobbies where we typically have more players kind of catch up to where we are in this, and then it's all going to escalate quickly. I know we see multiple ballers on your screen right now, 5 of them beginning to move on out. The 2 players in the back with launch pads. That's how they get away with being that far back in the zone and not having to kind of preemptively move.
Yeah, you can wait. You know you have that utility, and also all of those baller players, another thing that's going to contribute to how dense these circles are going to be is these baller players aren't using mats to have to pick up these rotations. So when they do get forced out of them and the teamfire eventually comes through or the circle gets too small, then they'll have so many more of these utilities to be able to challenge for the high ground, play defensively, set themselves up to be in a positive position, or catch people rotating out like this as he takes some chip but is able to jump right back into that trusty ball and roll on away.
Roll on away. A stink hitting Bodike and Gringo up top. AR and HBN just building on out, playing the high ground for the moment. That's a knock on one. I believe the other just died as well. Quick little cleanup right there. 2 elims for this duo now. They've reached a top 15. So right now, this is a 5-point game. So they just got their first couple elims, and they just got their first placement points. What's crazy is, and we don't talk about it a ton, Sundown, is if you fall just outside of that top 15 and you play a game for 20-plus minutes to reach or 20 minutes almost to reach this and not get a single point at all, it's extremely detrimental because you only have 3 hours of total play time. We've seen many of these top teams only be able to play 7 or 8 of their games because they spend so many times reaching towards the top 15.
Yeah, you really need to maximize efficiency on the point. So if you drop out and you are playing for the late and hoping to get some of those elimination opportunities later rather than trying to get them early, but you get dropped out in 16th or 17th with no elims, all of a sudden you've been in queue for a little bit of time and then into the match with 0 points to come out of that. And then you have to go immediately into another match.
And you're
try
tilted,
your hardest.
you're upset, yeah.
And tilt is real. We talked about mental game having to be strong. Twiz talked about it when he got through in Oceania, and Controller Roll showing great mental right here as he's able to go down, get the knock as his teammate is picked up, and then put pressure back out. So he knows the siphon's going to come through in a second. Doesn't have to worry too much about that storm. Once he gets back in 17 for now, should go up. It is. Yeah, he's like, please.
Where's the siphon? Where's the siphon?
Teammate might have been able to cover it. I don't know. It looks like it might.
There it is.
Both finally ended up going through. Was a little towards the edge of the zone, but now only working with 32 effective HP. But he finds it onto Snowy, and he got the full conversion there. So the siphon kept it back into it, and he's into the top 8 with more mats now.
And the player that was shooting at him from behind actually broke the wall that he needed to push on through as well, clearing his path.
Oh, and
Unfortunately, Control does go down there. Perpetual up top, spraying down on a Goldeng. Having to watch out for the 2 players above, though. From that angle, you couldn't tell that there was actually people about 3 stories higher on up, and now Perpetual's got a decision to make. With no mats left, it's time to drop on down and get into the fray.
Yeah, so it's a 2v the rest of the lobby, with the 2 being on ultimate high ground. So Perpetual's just going to dive on in. Radu, your rip, you are back in lobby as well. 5 players remaining, 4 duos left.
And he's on the far side of the zone, so he's got time to at least pop 2 of those minis from what looked like an impossible scenario to now over 150 HP with 65 possible builds.
And Cypher just straight up ran and took high ground. He's like, I 90 better than you. I build better than you. Taking that straight vertical approach and ran up there and took it away. Now Perpetual's challenging the low ground.
Wait, Perpetual just went for it all, and that's a questionable decision for me, in my opinion. Tried to make it happen. Unfortunately, missed a couple of those shots. Now a 1 versus 1. Minz Cola on the low ground. Golden Jay on the high ground. Not much for Golden Jay to work with right now.
Well, the minigun coming out.
No, the minigun spray. Oh, the pump, no! The 180 pump! The spray, which you think could potentially catch him off guard, doesn't phase him at all. The mental game is there, Sundown, and Dr. Lupo, the minigun failed him there.
You hate to see it, Jack. One of the best weapons in the game, in my opinion. Actually, potentially the most fun and probably the loudest, to be quite honest with you. But the minigun is not the only thing that's been paying off. We're going to take a second here and look at all of the facets of the gameplay itself. We have a couple clips I'd like to review super quickly because in the Fortnite World Cup, we have teamwork, awareness, and just on-the-fly reactions. A quick trio here. There's the first and spots another pair rotating in from outside the zone. Looking back, Isaacs picks up that 3-piece, honestly, with ease. Just being ahead of those players as they're pushing from outside made the difference there. Eric from Fnatic in a 2v, let's see, now 2v1 situation, takes out the first. Young, the rocket from above to bring down Flow, and the quick swap from Eric, shotgun to SMG to finish that off. Positioning, though, top down from here. That stink you saw on the screen belong to this player as they're beaming from above. Look at these just quick little peeks, the shots from outside. That infantry rifle making some big impacts as players are rotating in. You'll notice a lot of these clips, a lot of these replays have a lot to do with being just a step ahead of the storm. And even right here, Villain dropping in that pump shot, a lot of damage into the heavy sniper rifle, busting through the wall and saying, this is my elimination as well. All these players, we've seen things like this, plays like this over and over again. Deos caught just outside as Villain's trying to push in through the storm. The shot It was an easy one shot, and the number of times that we've seen stuff like this, like I was saying, players make plays like this from outside and hugging the outside of the storm. Gatekeeping is a term that we use as players are rotating in. We've seen it so many times, and it does make up a large portion of late game eliminations because it all comes down to reaction speed. Guys, these have been incredible games. I'm super excited to see what's next. Just so you know, the standings are being worked on. We'll have those for you in a little bit, but we do have more games ready to go. Courage, sundown if you could, please.
Thank you, Dr. Lupo. Final games for Europe right now. Who will be the 4 teams to qualify? We will know very, very soon. And well, we just saw the southernmost part of the map have an end zone. And guess what, Sundown? We've gone to the complete opposite side now.
Going from corner to corner, coast to coast, no problem here. Slightly north of Sunny Steps as Bleach pushes right into Simbits' box and says bye-bye.
Absolutely. It's funny, it's a very similar scenario to that last game. One thing to keep in mind to point out, too, is, while these zones have absolutely played a part in why there's less players, you've also got to think at the end, when we talk about time control, players just kind of going for it, going for those limbs, looking for some fast points, hoping to maybe catch in time to hop into another game before time runs out. Maybe they play this one as like hey, let's drop in, get as many limbs as we can in the first 2 minutes, then hop into another queue, right?
Yeah, and just try and burn your way out through taking many of those fights. But then the issue becomes if you're like, oh, you're in one of those throwaway games, all of a sudden you get 7 elims and a nice loadout. You're like, well, at what point is this not a quote-unquote throwaway game, right? Because you really want to able to convert that. And another interesting thing there, I apologize, we're not north of Sunny Steps, we're just north of the block here on that side. One interesting thing to note with the moving zones from 5 and onward, because you do go from point to point, there's times where in these edge of map situations, it's very rare, but you can effectively be completely off the map for some of that traversal.
Yeah, it's nuts what could wind up happening here. As you see, it will move towards the northwest. Do want to point out again for the viewers at home, Stormy definitely has over 50 builds. Just since we joined this game, the spectator system's catching on up there with the inventory. But it looks like they'll both hop into their ballers and probably clear on out, as it's time to begin the rotation towards the next zone. 31 players remaining, 19 duos, so already a lot of these teams very, very close to earning those 3 placement points for reaching the top 15.
Yes, and if you guys are a little bit new, first, welcome back in. And I know there are some of the issues like Jack was just talking about maybe the toolbar's not updating or the builds, the elim's not going through. It's because we've swapped up a little bit in terms of how we're spectating and jumping into these matches. We're constantly iterating on it as well. And in addition to that, these tools are available to you if you want to check it out. There's generally a post put up on one of the subreddits. I think it's the competitive one where it goes up. So you can check it out, jump into some of these replays, try them out yourself. But we appreciate you guys hanging with us because we just want to catch as much Fortnite action as possible.
Oh yeah, I like this format a lot. It's hopping right into the juiciest part of the games. Obviously, there's a couple story aspects you miss out on, but in qualifiers like this, when there's so much going on, you just want to see as many players, as many end games as possible.
Well, for me, I want to see as many interactions as possible, right? So it's for the early and mid games, they're nice when teams are forced to interact, whether it's initial gun drops or gun races, or like you catch somebody rotating to the edge of the circle. But from circle 4 and 5, you're guaranteed to see players forced to interact with each other. And just because in Fortnite, there's so many options for how those interactions play out. And when the players are this absurdly good, I mean, it's real interesting.
Now, one thing to take note of here, Sundown, is the zone going right back towards the block where it really just was. There's going to be a ton of previous build in there that teams will have to keep track of. Don't overbuild when you know, hey, let's reconnect to our big tunnel we had. Let's set back up where we once were to save ourselves from having to burn through a lot of mats. You see right now, Ziny and Mongoose just tunneling on out.
Ooh, but getting caught in that
by an RPG. And it looks like because they break the shields, it's like, hey, let's pressure them right away.
Yep, and a forced emergency rift there coming from the two boys on native as they're jumping away. You have Gambit's young player Astro, SMZ also on the low ground rotation looking to find the rift, but it expires just before that as you start moving towards these old builds. And you talked about, hey, can we find our old tunnel? But one aspect to consider is there's just so many like awkward situations where somebody is waiting for you and setting a trap right there, as Ziny was waiting for that player to walk right around the corner, and you never know how, like, oh yeah, this is our tunnel, it's safe, but somebody's waiting right around the corner.
This is kind of the, oh my goodness, we're not in a fun spot position for Zany and Mongoose. They pop the rift. They're just slowly dropping on down. Is there anyone on the high ground? Okay, there we go. I was wondering if anyone was up there.
Oh, and another rift goes off. You see it there and hear it, but they are going to challenge for that high ground as the build comes out, gets ramped off, trying to do a side retake.
Jeez.
But still, oh, is this a three-way build battle? It is, and Ziny's deciding, nah, I got 27 builds. I'm out. Gonna pick up Eskie. Right there, no problem, as it gets another one onto Diller Deagle. 2 quick eliminations, and it puts them into the top 15. So a 5-point swing there for Ziny and Mongoose as he falls from the top and gets knocked down.
Yeah, unfortunately, teammate now knocked in these late game zones. There's no chance for a res at all. And Ziny, right there, builds up to the right a little bit and connects the build to the next structure. Expected players to begin to try to beam on up and knock them down. Reads it like a book, 200 IQ.
That was his old structure. We went back over. This circle has gone back and forth and back. A nice little yo-yo as the launch pad comes out right there. And Diner and Nork are going to challenge for that next high ground. And they get a second to kind of reset. Nope, as I say that, RPG comes in and they have to build off.
Shots going in.
Oh, that's going to drop it.
Breaking the whole top structure. Do they have anything prepared? It doesn't appear so as of yet. They land on these new builds from Diner and Nork. Build fight going on in. That's Ziny who's dropping down, you see, taking some fall damage at the point that he's now at with HP. A-Run now under 50 health, trying to challenge this fight close by. 180 pump to the dome. We'll live to see another day, and literally vaulted over that rocket, and the Elim was down to just 2 HP.
And it drops into another player's box.
Stop.
But the darts go off.
But
he got the siphon. He should be good. I don't think they ended up connecting because the other player ate the darts for him. So those are a true projectile, which means if another player eats them or if you dodge them, you don't take the damage from them. It's not guaranteed like the spike trap going through. So the other player eating it needs to get into the zone, and then he gets the siphon to get back in. So he has a hope and a dream on 1 HP. Will he be able to convert? Nope. Diner finally ends Aaron's miracle run.
Wow.
But he did manage to get himself into the top 5. So now you have Nork in the top right, Astro SMZ in the bottom right on the low ground as he picks up an elim there. 3 duos remaining.
And this just looks like an easy dub for this duo up top. Rocket, heavy sniper combo. Yeah, look, this is Astros.
This is tough.
Astros doing everything that they can, but at this point...
The miracle play would be to get out to the side and launch pad up, but he can't even do that because he has the tree above him, so he's going to hit himself. So now he's just trying to create a 1v1 in a situation. Will he be able to find it? But Diner is still just covering for Nork. Drops out to the side, does have the boogies. If he can hit a double boogie, maybe, but it's so hard in this situation as boom. Nope. There it is.
Brilliantly done. Congratulations to Nork and Diner. 8 elims in total. The victory royale as well, an 18-point game we talked about yesterday to qualify for the top 1,500 duos in Europe. They averaged about 5.8 points a game. An 18-point game here will definitely help them move towards the top half of that leaderboard. Now, right on into our next bit of action. This one taking place near the volcano. You see Sopen, our highest amount of elims at 3. 41 players left in the zone.
Yeah, and you also see Astro and Phoenix over there, Fizzy and Mr. Dinksy, Vegeta and Ghosty in the lobby. 41 players, 24 duos. Just a reminder, this is Europe. We are getting down towards those final matches, which means all the points matter, not only for a piece of that $1 million prize pool, but for lucky, or not so lucky at this point, for incredibly skilled and consistent duo players, or partners will be booking their trip to the Fortnite World Cup final in New York City on July 26th to the 28th.
Yeah, I think, you know, we spoke earlier to the team that won, obviously, from out there in Australia. And, one question that I wanted to ask was, have they ever been to the U.S. or New York? This could be you know, people dream of going to New York City from across the world, and now playing Fortnite to go not only to be able to go to New York, but then compete for $30 million. It's like they'll never forget that for as long as they live.
Yeah, when I was talking with DRG, you saw some of the clips from the interview, but he's the 15-year-old Belgian who qualified last week on the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
And he was saying, like, hey, I just want to be the best, but this is going to be my first time ever going to the States and going to New York, and I'm really excited to just go play Fortnite with the best of the world.
Oh.
And I'm like, that's incredible.
It's insane, and it's to the point where I imagine some of these kids, and I say kids because the average age that qualified for week 1 was 17. They're probably going to have to get their own passports still for some of them. But what we just saw right there was one of the most awkward things that can happen in these rotations. One of the two players gets in the launch pad. The other player tries to drop in, but the launch pad gets shot out in time. That's a lot of damage from that stink coming in from Yo. And I think Venz, instead of taking the launch and flying away, dropped back onto his teammate to try to help out.
Yeah, Ravens, they're opting to stick with him, but it's going to take a little bit of additional damage to loose the utility, but they're going to try and convert it into eliminations as Ravens does go down. So Yoa is going to need to find something here as they're on that backside, and only one of the few duos who hasn't made their way into the circle. If you check that bottom right-hand side, that white indicating where that new safe zone is, the blue showing where the storm is closing in, as Yoa is trying to find that player rotating along and has a decent amount of build, so should be okay here.
Unfortunately, teammate Ravens did go down. I didn't realize the name was Ravens.
I'm assuming that's a special character, and also, guys, special characters aren't that cool.
Yeah, come on, guys, please. And smiley faces as well. Yeah, I called someone, apparently had the name Wiffle yesterday. It was an X where the, I would be. I called them Waffles the whole time. It was also near lunch, and I hadn't ate yet, so that probably explains it. But
to be fair, waffles are delicious.
They are.
And if you choose pancakes over waffles, you're wrong, because waffles have syrup pockets.
Wow, that just got intense there real quick, and I'm sure that's going to spark some debate about this one. But there's no debate right now that Bellau and Caxi are trying to eliminate this player just on the edge of the cliff, and they're frantically building it. There it goes.
And we've seen Bella. He was the 21-year-old Finnish player qualifying for Helsinki Reds for the solos, now trying to make a late push up that duo leaderboard, trying to be one of the players. We were talking about how there might have been a repeat qualifier coming out of Oceania and Asia. That got denied. Will anybody in EU be the first to do it, or will it be 8 brand new faces going to New York as Yoa goes down to Zest in there? An incredibly close shotgun fight, but will he be able to get it? Does get Sopen to have exactly 50 HP through the siphon, now down to 14 courage.
Literally almost anything in the game one-shots him if he gets tagged here. Trying to build on through the focus of so many, and because they were still moving into the zone, they were the target of everybody right there. We are right on the edge of this map again.
Yeah, for right now, the zone is edging towards the side of the mountain, but here they are on the high ground as the rift comes through.
And you can see it's moving back towards a few of those builds. 21 players remaining in total in this one right now. Big building up top, trying to just blanket out that high ground for the moment. Now having peace of mind that they can look back down and lay down some fire.
Yep, giving them some space. Not a whole lot of players even challenging remotely near the high ground, so they can actually opt to drop down whenever they want. But for now, just opting to really rain down assault rifle shots and stay safe. They want to get to that next placement threshold of top 10 for 2 more points.
Here's Caxi. Team out again. Bellau, as you mentioned, Bellau did land furthest in the zone. He actually wound up taking some storm damage just to be able to set up as far ahead as possible. They've now reached the top 10 with that elim right there. So that's 5 points earned, plus that elimination puts them at now 6 points for this game.
Yep, great work from them, and they are still one of the few duos remaining in this lobby. There's a lot of solo riders coming out, so if they can work together and keep getting more elims, this could turn into a big point game from them. Currently sitting on 7 points total. 9 players in the lobby, 6 duos remaining, so 1 more has to fall. Then it's all about eliminations and the victor, as we still got a couple balls hanging around.
So they made it into an expedition site. They're using this as natural cover for the moment, which I love, this idea. Farming a little bit as well.
Yeah, but need to be careful when those do pop down. They are incredibly loud, so the players will know you're there, could potentially get a cheeky wall replace or a cheeky shot off. But since they are one of the lone duos, they'll probably be one of the aggressors, one of the ones driving the action here. As you hear, still a couple of those grapplers going off for the ballers, trying to stay in this match. But, oh, look at the bottom right. Look at where we're going. We're quite literally going off the side for the end.
Oh, my goodness. If it makes it all the way there, Chewed Up, a name we've seen multiple times today throughout the broadcast, has unfortunately fallen victim there, top 5. So that elim, again, they were the reason why they placed the top 10 with the elim. Now the reason why they placed into the top 5 with that elim. Another one comes on through. You mentioned how they're one of the final couple duos here. There's one other duo remaining.
They're trying to find the shots here, working together. Look how they're taking multiple angles to pressure into this box, converting on that there. And we know now they definitely have more than the 2 elims. That counter not going. So this is definitely a big game
2 versus
for
2.
Caxi. And yep, like you said, 2v2. You have Doogie and Big in the top right, Caxi in the bottom right with his partner Helsinki Reds, Bella EU. But Doogie and Big are sitting on 100-100 and ultimate high ground right now.
They're just trying to bust through this low side. Caxi attempted for a second to try to pop a med kit. Didn't wind up working out. The material's being burned through right now from Caxi. Only 13 total builds left. We are about to be off the edge of the map, folks.
Big challenge. He went down, though.
Big immediately knocked. It's now a 1 versus 2. The challenge comes in as well, and Doogie goes down. They dropped on in and wind up falling just short. Caxi earns that extra health to stay alive. And it seemed like that challenge even caught you off guard right there, Sundown.
It didn't make sense to me as to why they would go separately. If you're going to challenge and leave the high ground, you need to go together from 2 different angles. If you go one at a time, you just get pincered.
What an end to the European matches right there. I know Zeke is down on the floor to give us final thoughts.
Thank you guys so much. Excellent casting. What an incredible set of games so far. Keep in mind, guys, that's it for Europe. Queue times are done, and we're tallying the final results. But Brazil is currently in the midst of their games. We're going to hop on over to the wall, take a look at the standings, see how things are going with them. Let's take a look together. Right here at the top, these are the Brazil standings. So PF, Zin, and Nyx, 52 points right now. That's kind of where things are at. Now, we saw these guys come out on top yesterday, and already they're dominating the standings. Now, keep in mind, the point spread is still pretty tight, right? We see Quasar Lucid and Quasar's Woodzilla right behind them there, 31 to 35 eliminations. The points, though, 52 to 51. Now, keep in mind, the Quasar guys have an extra victory out up on Nyx and his dual partner. So we'll have to see how that unfolds. Right there in third, you see Zikap Piranha, Techno Viking in fourth, Zodi Boy and Barboisa, one of Golden Boy's favorites. And fifth, we see another Quasar duo right here, right? Laleo and Gordon. And there in sixth, Pato and Leo Bass. There's so many crazy names that I haven't seen. I'm sorry if I pronounce them wrong. Code Sin's Toxic and Twaco there in seventh. You got Mist Zera and Estevan there in eighth, and the list goes on, guys. So again, this is just kind of starting out the Brazil games, if you will. Now, we are going to have to go to a break, okay? We know, but please stick around, because when we return, we're going to punch 4 more tickets. 8 players will be joining us in the New York Finals, so you won't want to miss who's going to be joining us. Stay tuned, more Fortnite action after this.
Jump on and drop in. It's time to kick off the Fortnite World Cup competition. From April 13th to June 16th, we'll be running Fortnite World Cup Online Opens, where you can qualify to compete for your chance at a piece of the $30 million prize pool. But how will these work, you ask? Each week will alternate back and forth between solos and duos competition, with players qualifying from each server region in Oceania, Asia, Europe, Brazil, NA East, and NA West. To find specifics for your server region, go to Fortnite.com/World Cup. To play in the Online Opens, you'll need to compete in the the new Arena Mode, an always-on form of competition where players can rank up tiers and leagues. It all starts in the Open League, and when players earn 125 points, they'll advance into Contenders League. After that, you'll need to build your way up to 300 points to unlock Champion League, where the Saturday Online Open players will be chosen. Then, we'll take the top 3,000 solo players or 1,500 duos from that Saturday's semifinals and advance them to the Sunday finals. Each Sunday, 20 players will rise to the top and qualify to join us in New York for the Fortnite World Cup Finals. Buckle up, because we're officially on the road to the Fortnite World Cup Finals. In just a few months, we'll see the greatest Fortnite players in the world go head-to-head to determine who will take the title of World Cup champion and become part of the global phenomenon that is Fortnite. Hundreds of players will compete on stage in New York City for their chance at Ultimate Battle Royale glory and their piece of $30 million. But let's look back at how we got here. The competition was hot at our first major live event at PAX West, where we held the Summer Skirmish finale. This open format pitted over 900 players against each other, and Morgassi was able to rise out of the masses and take home nearly $250,000.
A life-changing amount of money.
Fall Skirmish came next, where 500 players competed not only in Battle Royale competitions, but build-offs, challenges, bake-offs, and cosplay competitions to win prizes and value club points. This all came to an insane conclusion at TwitchCon, where Tfue and Cloaksy were able to fend off the competition and win it all.
It's Tfue and Cloaksy!
Finishing off the year, we dove into the Winter Royale when the first ever open online qualifier was hosted, featuring the top 200 players from North America and Europe. In the end, the stream Skype dominated the European qualifier, semifinal, and final to come out on top. And on NA, Nolan beasted his way through the rounds, outperformed the Infinity Blade, and took home the crown. 2019 kicked off with a secret skirmish where Ghost Saf and Rise Ronaldo took the top spot in duos, and the solos competition ended with an unbelievable performance from Ghost Bizzle, who took it all with the most clutch Fortnite finish in competitive history.
Around, shot comes in, a limb for Bizzle, turns on the player above. That's it! He deagled the floor! Bizzle with the victory!
But this unbelievable action isn't limited to offline events. We've watched competitors get themselves ready for the Fortnite World Cup through their participation in the online tournaments. Fully open qualifiers for all players 13 and up has definitely shaken up the standard. Starting with the Scallywag Cup, familiar players like Saf and Zayt are continuously flaunting their skills, and we also saw new faces like WBG's Rux and Pika. But the veterans and big names aren't backing down, with players new and old challenging each other non-stop for the top spot. Beehive was a prime example of this in the European Blackheart Cup, continuing his absurdly consistent streak of dominating open competitions, while the Argentinian Dzeko was able to show off his elimination skills in a dominant Brazil region victory. After that, we saw two duo competitions, the Lux Cup and the World Cup warm-up, with a fantastic mix of challengers and established veterans able to claw their way up the leaderboard. The newly formed duo of Perfect Tilt and Mastoris have shown that they are not to be messed with, while the newly eligible European youngsters like Mongro, Benji Fishy, Osmo, and Milan showing that they are as good as everyone believed. But let's not forget about Oceania and Asia, where we've seen the Chiefs duo of Sync and Skyla continually upsetting the standard and dominating the ladder. And Medicino, Top Fax Fox, and the Crazy Raccoon Boys have all had incredible performances over in the East. We've seen so many different players come to the fore, but nothing on the scale like this. Who will be the next Morgassi? Will a Tfue or Cloak-like pair continue their domination? Will our winners be someone who qualifies early? Or will they have to sweat it out every weekend to make it onto the World Cup final stage? We could not be more excited to see the story unfold and to watch these players ascend to greatness. And who knows, one of them could be you.
everyone. Welcome back to the Fortnite World Cup. There was a moment there in the behind the scenes where you saw me briefly pick my nose, and I forgot the camera was on. I'm really sorry about that.
It's okay.
I messed up, Zeke. I messed up, Zeke, you know, but it's all good, though. All right, folks, so we have the Europe matches concluded. Some great games were had, without a doubt. We saw a lot of the top players square off. And Sundown, I want to bring you in here, brother, because those are some great games you had a chance to cast. Some of the last games there, I want to get your thoughts, man. Great players here. Only 4 spots up for grabs.
I mean, it's like you said, the story really comes down to the 4 spots up for grabs, and you're going to see it right here. We'll jump right on into it. First spot, Benji Fishy and Mr. Savage, the energy duo, going through and taking it out, and then Mongrel and Mitro, Secret and Atlantis being represented in that second spot. Tashinkin and Stompy, also another repeat qualifier, so Benji Fishy and Stompy both booking 2 tickets, and then the Loot Boys, Mexi and Scram rounding out the 4th. And I mean, I feel for Airwalks, man. This is twice. This is twice. Not only in duos, but solos. He's been bumped out in the very last match. I mean, my heart.
It's got to happen. It's got to happen eventually. The Airwalks and Nikov are too good. Man, that is rough. That is rough. But at least they're not going to walk away empty-handed. They will take 4,500, but you know they want to make it to New York, man.
They definitely wanted to make it to New York. And on top of that, too, you saw another solo qualifier just outside. You had the Train H duo of Sethu and DRG just missing the inside out. And don't forget, again, they're going to have plenty more chances coming out of Europe. They have 4 spots for every single one of those qualifying weeks. So 20 players from Europe will end up going through, or 20 duos from Europe, excuse me, will end up going through and be competing there. So definitely some more opportunities. And with 4 already qualified through, it's going to get, I don't want to say a little easier, but a little less stressful. But still, I mean, we see the battle at the top and the battle for that 4th spot in Europe every single time, that last spot. It's been absurd.
Bringing this up again, I want to bring Courage and Lupo in here. Mongrel and Mitro have qualified. They're going to the Fortnite World Cup. This is a duo that we all knew was going to make it. Seriously, you know, Fortnite is a game that has a lot of factors that play into it, but these are 2 players that are so great at mitigating that carnage, and now they're going, and this makes them very scary, gentlemen.
I literally talked about it earlier when we said, like, Chap said publicly once that he was like, the 2 best players in the world can't compete, because that was before the age limit got lowered. That was Mr. Savage M and Mongrel, and here they are, first qualifying week for duos. They both now made it on in. These guys are freaks.
Consistency is key too. Like you said, we've seen some of these names show up every single time we see one of these competitions.
Yep.
And the fact that they landed second, I think that speaks volumes. They're going to New York City.
Yep.
That's going to be crazy. That in itself is an experience.
Also, Mr. Savage, too. I want to call out Mr. Savage here because last week, Zeke, not the best run for him. It was a lot of frustration on stream. I know that he was very frustrated with it. I'm glad that Mr. Savage has managed to make it to this point. That is another horrifying duo that's going to be there. You're looking at Europe. I don't know, Zeke. They're pretty scary. Maybe we have our potential Fortnite World Cup winner in that top 4.
Listen, it's possible, and I think that's a good point, right? So you have to think about it when you're coming in, especially on the first week of duos, to qualify in the first week. So everyone's here, everyone's participating, and you're the one to step out in front and say, look, I'm going through. That's a big deal, right? So even though Mr. Savage has kind of been a little upset about things, listen, he's punching his ticket. He's already there, so he can just let that, just a sigh of relief, just breathe in and take it all in. And him, Benji Fishy, Mitra and Mongrel, dude, we've talked about these guys since their inception, right? The moment they came forward, like, hey, we're a duo, we were like, all right, you know, they're going through. Like, you just can't not.
Yeah, and even then, right, the E11 guys and the Loot Boy crew, like the 2 duos as well that are very formidable. Sundown. I will say though, for Loot Boy, not to take anything away, but you know, Mexi and Scram, I didn't expect it, but I'm happy to see them there, and this is a huge opportunity for them to be able to bring it in New York City.
So Scram and Mexi, I know they've played duos for a decent amount of time together, but in particular, they've generally been a lot more higher caliber solo players. Scram saw him a ton in the Winter Royale, has been around the EU scene forever, is known for not necessarily always being the most consistent when he is up at the top. It's generally high volume eliminations and high placements for a long stretch, but then sometimes he can drop off. When he's able to put it all together, he has the ability to challenge with the Mitro in the Mongrels and the Benji Fishy and them of the world. Like, it's incredible. And I mean, I think we actually have Scram with us here on a call.
Let's see if we can bring him up.
I think we got him coming through.
Yeah, I believe we do have an interview here with
Scram. Let's go, Scram.
In that phone, that cell phone, you gotta love it, you know? So what's up, brother? Congratulations, you're going to New York City. How do you feel?
Thank you very much. It's crazy. It's actually so crazy.
So walk me through the moment that you guys found out. What did you do? Like, at that exact moment, what did you do when you looked at the leaderboard and saw that you, in fact, are going to go to New York City for the Fortnite World Cup?
I mean, the first thing after the last game was I rushed up to my parents. I started crying and just like I was so many emotions because the last game was absolutely insane.
Dude,
which made us qualify.
Well, let's talk about that last game. What happened there? What was it? Walk me through it, right? You know, give me kind of like the cliff notes of it all. What happened early on? What made that last game so intense? What was the situation there?
So we landed at our normal spot, and we just played like we usually would, just like play for late game. And it was also the game we got in 1 minute before the whole thing ended. So we were pretty hyped up about that. And then we got. As the late game, we had a rift, and ended up kind of split after we rifted. And ended up like killing some people and then reuniting again in the end. And then we had Mongrel and Mitro above us, who then killed Mexi. And then I managed to take down Mongrel, I think. And then Mitro had no match, so we had to go down. And then I was high ground. And then I mean, a guy came high ground and I killed everyone.
Oh, and then he just deleted everybody from the server.
Said, I got it, no problem.
So it ended up being, it was a 20-point last match, right? For you guys to clutch up and take that fourth spot and take it away and bounce it out. So, I mean, we've seen you before in the Winter Royale in other moments. We've seen you in the Fortnite. Did you ever think you'd be on a stage like that and then have the opportunity to clutch up and send yourself to the finals? Like, what was it like going through that, and like, how do you train for those moments? Were you even thinking when you went through it, or did it just happen?
I mean, I never in my life would I expect to be like where I am right now. And obviously, it takes a lot to get here. We've been practicing, like, since I've had a holiday, we've been practicing every single day for several hours, playing like pro customs and playing arena and stuff. But I mean, those situations when you're in your zone, it goes so fast, and it's just it's clutched up.
Dude, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, and congratulations, man. You're going to New York. You're playing in the Fortnite World Cup final. You earned it.
Shout out to it, gang. Shout out to it, gang. Last thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was Scram there. Congratulations to him. Zeke, that's crazy, man. You could see the emotion there from him too. He's like,
you can't tell. My eyes might be a little red. I was getting a little teared up. You know, these are the kind of stories you live for. You know.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Little teary eye.
Don't zoom in, Cameron. Don't zoom in.
Don't zoom in.
Go over there.
It's okay, Zeke.
I'm fine.
It's okay. We got.
I'm fine. I'm good. I'm just happy.
Seriously, that's what this means for these players to get this opportunity. And also, I just want to say as well, like, if you're a player out there and you qualify, like, we want to talk to you. We want to hear from you. So, you know, don't be shy, right?
Yeah, man. We'd love to just kind of touch base with you. Just kind of exactly what we did. Super casual environment. We want to celebrate you punching your ticket, right? It's a big deal. So if you end up qualifying, you end up making that spot, we'd love to get just a moment of your time just to talk through that incredible moment for you. And obviously, I might cry. I was pretty dang close this time. I'm all right now. We're good, but next time, who knows?
That's right. Next time, who knows? If you want to make Zeke cry, talk to us. Basically, that's the end result there. But insanity across the board. Congratulations to our European players who have now qualified, the first few who have qualified on the duos portion for the Fortnite World Cup in New York City. But that means that we're going to go to a break. We're going to check out some of the highlights from the other regions as well, such as Oceania, Asia, and Brazil. So many great games games. But coming up next, it's going to be NAE. Some great matchups ahead of us. Don't go anywhere. This is the Fortnite World Cup. Dr. Lupo will know if you leave the channel.
I will.
He will know. He will know.
Jump on and drop in. It's time to kick off the Fortnite World Cup competition. From April 13th to June 16th, we'll be running Fortnite World Cup Online Opens, where you can qualify to compete for your chance at a piece of the $30 million prize pool. But how will these work, you ask? Each week we'll alternate back and forth between solos and duos competition, with players qualifying from each server region in Oceania, Asia, Europe, Brazil, NA East, and NA West. To find specifics for your server region, go to Fortnite.com/World Cup. To play in the Online Opens, you'll need to compete in the new Arena mode, an always-on form of competition where players can rank up tiers and leagues. It all starts in the Open League, and when players earn 125 points, they'll advance into Contenders League. After that, you'll need to build your way up to 300 points to unlock Champion League, where the Saturday Online Open players will be chosen. Then, we'll take the top 3,000 solo players or 1,500 duos from that Saturday's semifinals and advance them to the Sunday finals. Each Sunday, 20 players will rise to the top and qualify to join us in New York for the Fortnite World Cup Finals. Buckle up, because we're officially on the road to the Fortnite World Cup Finals. In just a few months, we will see the greatest Fortnite players in the world go head-to-head to determine who will take the title of World Cup champion and become part of the global phenomenon that is Fortnite. Hundreds of players will compete on stage in New York City for their chance at Ultimate Battle Royale glory and their piece of $30 million. But let's look back at how we got here. The competition was hot at our first major live event at PAX West, where we held the Summer Skirmish finale. This open format pitted over 900 players against each other, and Morgassi was able to rise out of the masses and take home nearly $250,000.
A life-changing amount of money.
Fall Skirmish came next, where 500 players competed not only in Battle Royale competitions, but build-offs, challenges, bake-offs, and cosplay competitions to win prizes and value club points. This all came to an insane conclusion at TwitchCon, where Tfue and Cloaksy were able to fend off the competition and win it all.
It's Tfue and Cloaksy!
Finishing off the year, we dove into the Winter Royale when the first ever open online qualifier was hosted, featuring the top 200 players from North America and Europe. In the end, the Stream Skype dominated the European qualifier, semifinal, and final to come out on top. And on NA, Nolan beasted his way through the rounds, outperformed the Infinity Blade, and took home the crown. 2019 kicked off with the Secret Skirmish, where Ghost Saf and Rise Ronaldo took the top spot in duos, and the solos competition ended with an unbelievable performance from Ghost Bizzle, who took it all with the most clutch Fortnite finish in competitive history.
Around, shot comes in, a limb for Bizzle, turns on the player above. That's it! He deagled the floor! Bizzle with the victory!
But this unbelievable action isn't limited to offline events. We've watched competitors get themselves ready for the Fortnite World Cup through their participation in the online tournaments. Fully open qualifiers for all players 13 and up has definitely shaken up the standard. Starting with the Scallywag Cup, familiar players like Saf and Zayt are continuously flaunting their skills, and we also saw new faces like WBG's Rux and Pika. But the veterans and big names aren't backing down, with players new and old challenging each other non-stop for the top spot. Beehive was a prime example of this in the European Blackheart Cup, continuing his absurdly consistent streak of dominating open competitions, while the Argentinian Dzeko was able to show off his elimination skills in a dominant Brazil region victory. After that, we saw two duo competitions, the Lux Cup and the World Cup warm-up, with a fantastic mix of challengers and established veterans able to claw their way up the leaderboard. The newly formed duo of Perfect Tilt and Mastoris have shown that they are not to be messed with, while the newly eligible European youngsters like Mongrel, Benji Fishy, Osmo, and Milan showing that they are as good as everyone believed. But let's not forget about Oceania and Asia, where we've seen the Chiefs duo of Sync and Skyla continue continually upsetting the standard and dominating the ladder. And Mendocino, Top Fax Fox, and the Crazy Raccoon Boys have all had incredible performances over in the East. We've seen so many different players come to the fore, but nothing on the scale like this. Who will be the next Margassi? Will a Tfue or Cloak-like pair continue their domination? Will our winners be someone who qualifies early? Or will they have to sweat it out every weekend to make it onto the World Cup final stage? We could not be more excited to see the story unfold and to watch these players ascend to greatness. And who knows, one of them could be you.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Fortnite World Cup. We're here in the studio, hanging out, getting ready for the NA East games. I'm Golden Boy. Once again, we got a great crew. We got Courage, we got Zeke, we got Sundown, we got Dr. Lupo. He's got a list. He's checking it twice. And we have NA East up ahead. I'm excited. You guys excited? It's gonna
I like that little motion you made.
Up ahead.
It really emphasizes what's about to happen because there's about to be a lot of force and power in these games. North America East.
Más fuerte.
Listen, we watch the Europeans, and I love the part of the World Cup, but as an American myself, there's nothing better than I like than American Fortnite Battle Royale on a Sunday.
Well, let's calm down. You're from
there, Jack.
Let's calm down. He's from Jersey. So
I'm from Nebraska. Listen here, Golden Boy.
Bust it out. Let me hear it, boy.
Listen here, y'all. It's Fortnite time. I want to see people laying out in fatal fields. Dig into that corn, brother. All right, accept it as part of your life. And
dig into corn.
This
dig into
is
the corn.
where you live now. Yeah, you dab.
Don't forget to shout out Kit Carlson. You know who you are.
Perfect.
What? Okay.
That's Lumen's alter ego.
Okay, so let's look at the schedule. Jack wants to see some NA East Fortnite. He's going to get it. But first, let's talk about what we had previously seen. We started the day off in Oceania as well as Asia. We've already crowned our players that are going to be going to the Fortnite World Cup final, as well as Europe. Brazil currently in progress right now, I want to say, right, Sundown? That is correct.
They're in progress, right?
Yeah, they're in progress. He knows time better than I do because we're in West Coast, and you know everything's the East Coast. And then we have NA East that is going to be taking place right now as well.